You are looking live at Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan. Tonight, the undefeated Wisconsin Badgers face their biggest test of the season. Heisman Trophy candidate Russell Wilson leads a flashy offense against one of the best defenses in the nation. Michigan State beat the undefeated Badgers a year ago. And tonight, they are determined to pull off the upset for the second season in a row. As you take a look at the impressive numbers, averaging better than 50 points a game, but look at that Spartan defense, holding everybody to 10 points a game. And remember, they have traveled to South Bend, and they have traveled to Columbus. They have played a much tougher schedule than the Badgers. Welcome, everybody. Well, Kirk Herbstreit, I'm Brent Musburger. Thanks for dropping by. And Herbie, there you have it, our premier matchup, the Badger offense against the Spartan team.
Well, this is what we really all wanted to see for a number of weeks. This Michigan State defense, I think, comes in with a ton of confidence. Now, Will Golston has been suspended, their top defensive end, but Jarrell Worthy is one of the premier inside defensive tackles you'll see in college football. The battle between the Wisconsin offensive line and this Michigan State defense will be as good as you will see all weekend.
Now, you're saying that this is the big stage for Russell Wilson tonight.
Well, he is a Heisman candidate. Let's face it. You mentioned it. They've not quite played the caliber opponent that I think a lot of people want to see. This is a night for Russell Wilson to show America that his offense averaging 50 points a game and that he are worthy of this BCS talk that they're receiving, and he's a Heisman candidate. Tonight we find out truly how good Wisconsin is.
Herbie, the Spartans' only defeat of the season came at the hands of Notre Dame in South Bend, and a sellout crowd awaits the welcome of head coach Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans as they pour out onto the field here in East Lansing, Michigan. The Badgers, undefeated and ranked number 6 in the first BCS rankings. The Spartans lead the overall series, but the home team has won the last 6. And the last Badger win here came in 2002, 42-24. Should be a dandy, folks.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. State Farm. For auto, home, life, and banking, get to a better state. And the Principal Financial Group. It's time to see your financial future. It's time to dream again with the Principal.
ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. And now for our conference update, brought to you by Dr. Pepper 10. Michigan State unbeaten and leading the Legends. The Badgers are in hot pursuit of the Nittany Lions of Penn State in the Leaders Division. The controversy surrounding this game, the physicality of the Spartan defense. And Herbie, that was some quote by safety Isaiah Lewis.
Yeah, Isaiah Lewis, after the big win last week against Michigan, said, hey, right away, Wisconsin should know we're coming. Our defensive line is going to try to hurt the quarterback, Russell Wilson.
Mark D'Antonio, of course, is a defensive specialist, was once the defensive coordinator at Ohio State when they won a national championship. And Aaron Andrews What's Brett Bielema's reaction to how tough this Spartan defense is?
Well, Brent, I asked Coach Bielema, did you talk to your team about handling their emotions, keeping their composure tonight? And he said, absolutely. We addressed it right away. You have to be ready. You have to keep it calm and cool. He said he even had his scout team get physical with the starters. I said, what do you mean? He said they were pushing them. They were shoving them. They were punching them in practice, even cussing them out. He said you have to learn to keep your cool tonight against Michigan State. Brent.
The controversy.
That's an interesting approach by Coach Bielema, getting his team ready and having the scout team go out there. You always wanted to take a shot at that senior. Go ahead.
And Bielema's Badgers are going to take the football to start. This is a beautiful, beautiful night here in Michigan for this football game. The wind is a story because against the Wolverines a week ago, 35, 40-mile-an-hour gusts. Tonight, much calmer. They will be able to throw and kick going either way in this game. Abbrederis and White will be back deep. Abbrederis, the dangerous kick returner, is to the far side as you look down at the return team for the Badgers. And that's White. Mumma kicks it away, and our journey begins. They'll down it in the end zone. Abbrederis quickly preventing White from coming out. It'll come to the 20-yard line. So here comes Russell Wilson, and on the year, Herbie, 14 touchdowns and only 1 interception.
Well, definitely a Heisman candidate. Transfer after 3 years of starting at North Carolina State. Just an amazing story. He was really only on the campus for 1 month. Learned the offense, had a chance to really digest everything, and came out guns a-blazing early in the year. Has not looked back. 14 touchdowns, only 1 interception on the year.
Coach D'Antonio said an interesting thing. He said they plugged him into the offense. He did not grow up with it. So there are certain things he probably cannot do with his offense. We shall see here tonight. As you would expect, they start with the hammer. Monty Ball, 5'11", 210. The junior from Wentzville, Missouri. And Lewis makes his first stop of the game.
And as much talk as we're gonna talk tonight about Russell Wilson, it's still Wisconsin, as Brent, as you know, and it's still about running the football. And right away, Isaiah Lewis, the quote that we put up was from Isaiah Lewis. He's down. It looks like he's holding his left hand, maybe his left wrist. Big collision there with Monty Ball.
And he will have to come out of the game on the first snap. After saying how much they were going to punish the Badgers, he lasts 1 snap and will come to the near side. How's that for irony?
And I'll tell you right now, I think Monty Ball is one of the most physical backs in the country, and that is a stinger. His helmet locked up right on his shoulder there.
He saw Lewis, and he went right for him. He did not duck out of the way.
No doubt about it.
They are very aware of who uttered that quote.
Yep. But Monty Ball, we were talking about it, it starts with their running game. This is still, again, Brett Bielema, Paul Chryst, the offensive coordinator. Wisconsin wants to run the football to set up Russell Wilson in the play-action pass game tonight.
Almost 2 hours before kickoff, Russell Wilson was out a la Peyton Manning working with his wideouts. They come right back with ball for the first down. All right, Herbie, our big guys.
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A impact players. We've talked a lot about Russell Wilson, Monty Ball, who's got to get it done. We already saw the impact he can have. Nick Toon, Brent touched on him earlier. His health is something to watch tonight. He's got a left foot that he had surgery on in the offseason. He tweaked it. We'll see how he holds up tonight. And then the leader is Chris Borland, 44 on the other side. Michigan State will want to run the football, and Borland will be right in the middle of all the action on the other side.
That's Toon. Just staying on the ground. 3 consecutive carries now for Monty Ball, and Chris Norman, the junior from Detroit, makes his first stop of the night. They have outstanding linebackers on this team. Not only Norman, Max Bull is the leader, number 40. He sets the defense, and Denikos Allen, number 28, will be the other. Outstanding 4-3 defense.
And a great battle in the trenches between this big, powerful offensive line and a defensive line tonight led by Jarrell Worthy, 99, is the battle we all want to see.
Paul Chryst upstairs is studying what they're doing without that safety. And right now, he is very content to bring the hammer for a first down, and Bulla makes his first stop.
Well, they came with a blitz, and Worthy is right here. Watch this offensive line work. Watch them work with the double team. They push him, and this is what Wisconsin will do. They'll get you flowing one way. They're constantly looking for the cutback because of the vision there of ball.
Curtis Drummond, number 27, has replaced Isaiah Lewis. He's a redshirt freshman. But they are just punishing the middle of that defense. James White has given Monty Ball a rest here early.
It's interesting, Brent, that you talk about Drummond coming in as a freshman. And we'll see if Lewis comes back into this game because he is a physical safety. And with an offense that's right now running downhill, these safeties from Michigan State are going to have to start to cheat up more and more in run support. And that's where you test the discipline with the play action and trying to get behind a guy like 27 Curtis Drummond.
2nd and 7. Drummond looking for assistance. They've got both safeties back deep, as you can see, and Drummond's communicating with the other side. And Wilson's going to throw for the first time. Complete. Fired beautifully underneath Johnny Adams that time. Jacob Pedersen, here's one of the wide receivers who worked early. They went one-on-one, and I remember Peyton Manning, Herbie. He did that religiously for the Colts, and this was Russell Wilson here tonight in his sweats.
Yeah, you're right about Peyton would work on that. They call that the tree routes, where you just come out and work on every route that you have in the offense. And Russell Wilson is a veteran. That's the one thing about him. He's the first year in a starting quarterback for Wisconsin, but 4th year as a starting quarterback. He's used to this kind of environment.
They put 2 now in the slot for the first time on the left side. And timeout has been called by the Badgers.
Timeout, Wisconsin, first charge, timeout.
Well, 6 plays into this game, 5 runs by the Badgers. They're running right at them right now to set up play action. We'll see what happens with this Michigan State defense, see if they can make the adjustments.
ESPN College Football is streaming live on your computer, tablet, or smartphone via WatchESPN.com and the Watch ESPN app.
But Herbie, Isaiah Lewis, the sophomore from Indianapolis, has checked back into the game.
And with a stinger on that left shoulder, we'll keep a close eye on him. He is such an integral part of Pat Narduzzi's defense, not only being out there as a leader, but when they go nickel, they'll put him over a slot, and he does so many different things for their defense.
Averaging 6 yards a carry. Ball is back at tailback. A 42-yard drive so far. Ball again. And it is clear what Bielema and Chryst have decided to do. To test that defensive front, shorthanded without William Golston, who has been suspended for a game, to see just how tough this Spartan front will be.
You gotta love the attitude of Wisconsin and Paul Chryst and Brett Bielema. All the talk about Michigan State and their defense, even without Golston, still being confident in the way they attack. And right here in this first series, they're coming right after him running the football.
Play action, middle, got him, tuned, first catch of the night, into the red zone, across the 15-yard line.
And when you run the football well, watch the linebackers on a quick little simple fake. Look at the safeties. Lewis, who checked back into the game, he's out of position. They are being lulled to sleep. He gets to the inside of Adams, but Lewis, the safety, is up trying to make a tackle on Monty Ball, who's had so many yards on this drive.
They found Lewis cheating on the run and took advantage. And Adams probably made a touchdown-saving tackle as he wrapped him up around the ankles. Did not play last week against Indiana because of a foot injury. 1st and 10 in the red zone. Now it is Ball. They try to stretch it out, and he finds the sideline and walks down for a gain before Norman and Lewis can get him under control. Well, let's take a look back at how they're doing in the red zone. And Herbie, this is brought to you by Verizon.
Well, they're number one in the nation. You look at 32 scores with 33 possessions, 29 touchdowns. That's 87% of the time they get into the red zone. They are scoring touchdowns, but this is a different opponent and a much better defense.
Keep in mind now that Ball leads the nation with 17 touchdowns, 16 of them rushing. He has caught one, and he's thrown for one a week ago against the Hoosiers. There was movement. Play is stopped. Left side of the offense. That's a tough false start. Instead of 2nd and 3, it's going to be 2nd and 8 now.
Number 58, offense. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd out.
Left tackle Ricky Wagner move.
Down inside that 10-yard line, things start to get a little tighter. Guys get a little bit tense, and it's tougher. They're right in front of the Michigan State student section. It makes it a little bit tougher as far as the rhythm of the cadence and trying to hear the quarterback.
No one throws on the run any better in the Big Ten than Russell Wilson. 2nd and 8. Let's see if this is a quarterback down. Going to come right back with the hammer instead. And he gets him back to 3rd and manageable.
Well, they had literally 10 men in the box. They left the corner, Denard, all by himself against Abradaris and had 10 men at the line of scrimmage. Watch the top of your screen. The corner to the other side, Johnny Adams, actually collapsed down and had a lot to do with coming in and helping out on that tackle.
Herbie Frederick did a great job on Jarrell Worthy, the very talented defensive tackle. I'm sure Worthy thought he was being held on that play, but there is one of the good ones. 3rd down and 4 now for Wilson and the Badgers. Here's your play action. Throws wide open. Touchdown, Wisconsin, Jacob Pedersen. They worked for at least 35 minutes, the two of them, before the start of this game. And that on his first 3rd down of the drive, he throws the touchdown pass. And oh, how quiet the crowd is now, Herbert.
11 plays, 80 yards, 6 minutes off the clock. You're playing on the road, all the hype, all the buildup. How would Wisconsin's offensive line do against Michigan State? First drive, 6 points on the board.
Now Philip Welsh is back, injured quite early. He tacks the extra point. And we've got the favored Badgers half struck first. And oh, how the public around the country loves that. They are on the Badger bandwagon big time.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by the new 2012 Kia Soul, a new way to roll.
Homecoming weekend here in East Lansing, Michigan for the Spartans. And the big parade yesterday evening. But this homecoming crowd a little bit uneasy after seeing Russell Wilson's initial drive and the way they were able to run against that front, Herbie. 85-yard drive, as you pointed out, and 46 of them running.
Just amazing way to start this game. It takes the crowd out of the game. It gives this offense even more confidence, I think, as this game continues on. And now you turn the ball over to Kirk Cousins, a veteran himself, and see if he can get the Spartans back into this game.
So good return man back there is Keyshawn Martin, along with Nick Hill. So the youngster is back there along with him. And now the kickoff man. And this is Alec Lerner. He'll kick it away for the Badgers, who are up by a touchdown. Hill takes a big hopper on the 15 seam. Stopped at the 24-yard line, and now it's going to be up to Kirk Cousins as we take another look at the touchdown.
Now you go back to Jacob Pedersen. If you're the Michigan State defense, the one guy in the red zone, especially on 3rd down, you want to watch. He's going to come over, do a little chip, and then escape out here. What I want you to watch are the Michigan State defenders. Remember, it's 3rd down and 4. Here comes Pedersen. He's a go-to guy. You should be alerted to 48 as soon as you see him. They get lulled to sleep watching the game. They're looking in the backfield at the play action, and they completely lose Pedersen. Watch how he just slides by, a little chip, slides to the outside, and Chris Norman completely let him go.
And Chris, when he designed hold up for a brief second on the
Sure.
block, they
Little
went for the
chip.
ball,
Yep.
and they got out of the way. The chip set that up.
Absolutely.
It is first down and 10 now for Cousins. And they will come with the running game now. This is Edwin Baker. Fumble! Badgers jump for it on the sideline. Wisconsin football. They give up a touchdown on the opening drive. They fumble on their first offensive play. I believe Cromartie came out of the bottom of it with the football. And that would be Marcus Cromartie, the junior, recovering this fumble.
How about Mike Taylor, one of the leaders of this defense, putting his headgear right on the football. And we may have to take a look at this. If Cromartie, in fact, did recover the ball, it looked like he was out of bounds as he dove back inbounds to be able to get that football. But Mike Taylor knocks it out. Look at Cromartie. He comes from out of bounds. And if he ends up being the defender who recovered that, that's an interesting play.
If he was the first man to touch it.
It looks like he's the
If
first
they
one.
rule.
Yeah. Definitely should take a peek at this.
They are.
'Cause he dove
They
from out of
are
bounds.
taking a peek at exactly
The
what you're
ruling on
talking
the
about.
field is it was a fumble recovered by Wisconsin. The play is under further review.
This is Tom Herbert in the replay booth for the Big Ten right next to us. Dennis Lipsky is our referee down on the field. Now, does he come from out of bounds, and is he the first to touch it?
He's out of bounds. He dives, Brent. It really looks like he lands on top of the ball. He and Borland touch it. It looked like at the same time, but he comes away with the recovery, as you mentioned. Well, that was close, but he's clearly out of bounds.
It is up to Herbert.
Good luck on that one.
Do you
You
remember
make the call.
You remember last week we had that very tough call
Yeah.
along the sideline?
Oh, yeah.
When the player was going out of bounds and batted it back
Yeah.
in, and the play had been stopped.
Yep.
Talked to Tom before the game. He thinks it should have been Arizona State football. Continuous action, okay?
Right.
And Arizona State was there to recover that football. That was a big moment against Oregon last week. Regardless, here's now.
Quick turnaround here.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. First down.
So it will be Badger football after the turnover, and things are not going Sparty's way.
Not at all. And it's great that they took a look. They clearly saw what they needed to see right away, made the right call, and now Wisconsin comes right back on the field. And this is where you wonder, with Russell Wilson, the way they've been running the football, do they try to go real quick, play action, and try to go behind them and try to hit a big play? That's where Nick Toon, number 1 at the top of your screen, can really be a big playmaker.
Monty Ball coming as the lineman pull. Forced out of bounds after at least a 5-yard gain as we go to Reese Davis for an update.
Brett, Taco Bell studio update takes us up to South Bend. USC and Notre Dame. Matt Barkley has hit his first 7 passes, couple of touchdown tosses. That one to Robert Woods. Trojans have jumped on top of the Irish 14-0.
And Reese, the most glamorous game next week takes Barkley against Andrew Luck in Los Angeles. 2 great quarterbacks, first-round choices. There is the slam, Abradaris to the 10-yard line, and it is a first down again. And Russell Wilson has now hit his first 4 of the game. He's 4 of 4.
And he's in rhythm right now. I just said that the previous play, I thought they might go back to the field, and they end up bringing it on 2nd down. The safety's completely lost in the middle of the field. Robinson looks off to his left, and Abradaris is there to make the play, and it's because, again, Wilson's experience uses his eyes to move the safety to the right and then throws it back to his left.
Monty Ball, touchdown Badgers. They strike quickly. 2 possessions and 2 touchdowns. 1 Spartan turnover.
Take a look at this offensive line. Again, you love Monty Ball and how tough he is, but this is an offensive line that I think is really feeling that this is an opportunity to capitalize. Watch Seitler, the right guard, picks up a nice block. The fullback also, Brady Ewing, is involved. And if you give this running back, Monty Ball, just a little bit of a crease, he runs right through those arm tackles.
And Philip Welsh adds his 2nd extra point. A homecoming crowd that is stunned as the Badgers jump out to a 2-touchdown lead. Well, Herbie, tomorrow night on, I should say Monday night, the Ravens and the Jaguars on ESPN's Monday Night Football, 8:30 Eastern. Now, we had Blaine Gabbert when he was at Missouri, the rookie quarterback for the Jaguars. That's a pretty tough assignment.
That is
those
a
rascals.
really tough assignment. And that gentleman on the left, Ray Lewis, just continues.
He's still playing?
He just continues to be able to provide leadership. And how about Ray Rice? What a pro he's become in the backfield for the Ravens after having a great collegiate career at Rutgers.
So, Larry Capers comes in, and Larry Caper, one of the return men, along with Nick Hill. And this is Hill again. Just short of the 20-yard line. And so now, Herbie, for Kirk Cousins, you've just got to be patient. Your running back turned it over through no fault of yours. He's a senior quarterback. You've got to get back one touchdown at a time.
Yeah, exactly right. 3-year starter. Not only a 3-year starter, a 3-time captain here at East Lansing. And he's the guy you got to turn to be able to kind of settle everybody down. This offensive line has been much maligned through injuries, but they've gained confidence in the last 2 weeks against Ohio State and Michigan. They've got to be able to play well, and Edwin Baker's got to get on track in this game.
Todd Anderson is the fullback offset. Baker back as the tailback. Play action, and Cousins completes his first pass, and it's a nice sideline throw to Keyshawn Martin.
One thing that Kirk Cousins is really trying to emphasize this year is stepping into his throws, and it looks like Martin, in fact, got his foot down for the completion. It might be just one simple throw, but after the way this game has started with that 14-point deficit, as you said, just baby steps. You can't get it all back at once. Just try to get a few first downs, get some continuity established in this game for this offense.
This is a coaching staff that has been together for some time, so they're certainly not going to panic here at the start of this one. And again, Cousins with play action, looking downfield, and he didn't fool anybody. So he aided and took the sack. His receivers were covered downfield, and Ezegwu finally sacks him. But there, Herbie is a senior quarterback, not throwing it up for grabs.
And Brent, I think he got a little bit guilty here of locking in on the backside post. The play action is obvious, but watch his eyes. He's looking downfield to his receiver, B.J. Cunningham, and Antonio Finellis has him locked down. He's got to come off of that a little bit quicker, and as you said, throw that football away and not take this sack.
2nd and 17. Back in the gun. Quick throw, high, grabbed at the 45-yard line. First down, B.J. Cunningham, his #1 target.
And B.J. Cunningham has tremendous athletic ability. I think he's really undervalued and underappreciated in the Big Ten. I think he's one of the premier receivers in the league. 6'2", 215 pounds, and has the ability to go up in the air, as you saw right there, and make that catch. He and Kirk Cousins, they played so much football together. There's definitely a rhythm between the two.
So here comes Baker again, left side. Wrapped that ball up and took a short gain before Chris Borland, the very active sophomore linebacker for the Badgers, gets him down. There's number 44, a tackling machine. Last week his career high, 15 tackles against Indiana.
Got some blood there from Borland, which you love to see in a Big Ten game here in East Lansing. Borland's right elbow already scarred up. He is a tough kid out of Kettering Alder.
2nd and 9. Anderson's back as your fullback. And now the changeup.
And he sees 2 high safeties. Got to run the football here.
Baker. And Borland cut him off and then got help. Number 44 had him, and Claxton comes up and makes the stop.
What he saw, Brent, is 2 safeties back about 15 yards deep. Look how deep they are. So he's got numbers to his advantage in the box. The problem is his offensive line doesn't help him out. Brandon Kelly, the junior, makes this play. He holds the point on the outside, and the rest of the defense comes in there. And there again is Chris Borland, the most active linebacker on this unit, and Claxton also involved.
Obvious passing situation for Sparty, and the Badgers know it. Not showing blitz. Rush 3. Well short of that first down. Michigan State will be forced to punt.
Michigan State, like a lot of offenses, just not equipped for those 3rd and long situations. Once Wisconsin won on 2nd down, Brett Bielema decided to just sit back, keep everything in front of us, let them complete something short, and then run to the football. And that's exactly what they were able to do. And this crowd is definitely getting a little uncomfortable with a 14-0 deficit.
Abbrederis is back deep, and Kenzel Doe is a return man set about 13 yards in front of him, off to the one side. This will be Abbrederis, and he'll let this one bounce, and the Spartans are going to take over on their own 22-yard line. If you just joined us, so far it is all Wisconsin. So we welcome you back. I think I said that mistakenly that the Spartans were taking over. Obviously, it's the Badgers who are going to take over on the 23-yard line. Wisconsin has completely dominated this football game so far. Max Bulla and the defense needs to come up with a stop here. Meanwhile, they are matched against this young man. Played minor league baseball, got his release from North Carolina State, a free agent, and the entire state of Wisconsin says thank you very much.
One of the great stories this year in college football, and off to a great start tonight.
He now has a TD pass in 31 consecutive games after throwing for one here earlier tonight. And White is the running back. He's got great burst almost out to the 40-yard line. And here tonight.
Things got started right away in that opening drive. Russell Wilson found his rhythm. They ran the football at will, and that running game set up that play-action pass on 3rd down. Very first play for Michigan State. They fumbled the ball. Wisconsin got it, and Monty Ball a couple plays later into the end zone, and 14-0 Badgers, and they're coming back for more.
Now White stays on the field. They feel that he had a breakout game against Indiana with 87 yards and a touchdown. And here he comes again. You can see how he explodes into the hole. As we go to Reese Davis in the studio, Sports Center right now.
And Brent, Sports Center right now is presented by Discover Card. LSU rolled past Auburn 45-10. Ron Brooks a pick 6, a little icing on the cake. But before that showdown with Alabama, Crimson Tide's tied with Tennessee, about to go to halftime at 6. Game 3 of the World Series tied at a game apiece. Alan Craig was the second batter of the game. He went yard. Cards have a 1-0 lead.
And here, Reese, it is White again as he gets a series. And maybe half a yard on that particular play.
They finally got to the outside and prevented White from bouncing out there. You know, Wisconsin, one thing they're going to do is pull linemen. They're going to pull their guards. They even pull their center, Peter Kahns. You've got to beat them to the point of attack when they start to come around the corner. And that time, Michigan State was able to do that to set up this 3rd down.
Now, here is Russell Wilson, and he has been terribly efficient on 3rd downs this year. And this is a 3rd and 4. Extra DBs are on the field. Monty Ball is his bodyguard. And they'll run the draw play. Great call by Paul Christ. Extra defensive backs on the field for D'Antonio, and Chris ran at him.
And look how Michigan State, expecting pass, is just kind of moving around. Nobody has their hand in the dirt. Everybody's just trying to confuse the Wisconsin offensive line. Brent, you're right. You're expecting, of course, Russell Wilson to make a play on 3rd down, either throwing or scrambling, which he's done a number of times. But they get it to Monty Ball, and his tough running gets the 1st down.
Herbie Oglesby, Zeitler, Cones, Frederick, and Wagner dominating. The only mistake I remember is Wagner, that false start down there inside the 10. White comes back in, I should say, as the running back here at midfield. And they'll try him again, and this time he was jumped. Norman was the ringleader, the linebacker, number 10. Now they are without William Golston, who was suspended. He, of course, had several personal fouls. This, I thought, was the most egregious when he turned Denard Robinson's helmet in the pile. Now, the young man cannot be in the stadium. William, I'm sure you're watching here tonight. They miss you. And there are some of your fans over there that are saying, Free Willie. And William, come on back, because your coaches said you've got a great future. Nice young man. We know how badly you feel about what happened. A one-game suspension on the part of the Big Ten. And here is Wilson. Middle. Oh, intercepted. It was picked off by Trenton Robinson, number 39. And that could be the spark here for the Spartans.
And Brent, as Nick Toon gets right into the middle of this defense, gonna come over and make the interception, but watch very closely. Russell Wilson is waiting for Toon now to turn his head. He throws the football, and Toon never adjusts his route. Trenton Robertson almost looked like the receiver. Look at Toon. He's got his head turned completely around, almost like he's clearing out an area to open up a receiver underneath. Some miscommunication, and that's what they're going over with him there on the sideline.
That's exactly what the coach was telling him. You got to turn around and redirect. And here comes Bell as the running back. He's the bigger back now, Herbie, and we'll see if the Spartans can get a drive going here. Toss play, and Bell running down the right sideline, and Dan Rusher with a great call on this play. That is their best play of the night, and Bell for 32 yards.
Like, great job by the receivers. The top of your screen, they'll come down and crack block. Look how they create the seal, and then of course the big linemen are leading the way downfield, but it was the crack block by the wide receivers on the linebackers and the defensive end that gave the linemen a huge running lane, and of course Bell just followed him around the corner.
Now Rusher said, Herbie, of course, we'll go with a hot hand. So you know who's not leaving. 6'2", 237 pounds, sophomore from Reynoldsburg, Ohio. They raise tough kids in Reynoldsburg.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, my wife's from Reynoldsburg.
Is that right?
How about that?
How did I know that? Time out. Well, our score here at Spartan Stadium, the number 6 team, according to the first BCS rankings, Wisconsin shutting out Michigan State 14-0. As we start the second quarter. Now, Herbie, let's watch Russell after the interception.
Yeah, he's waiting on his man Toon, and I think after he threw the pick, he got frustrated. All quarterbacks do, but look at my man. He's going downfield. He's sizing him up, and guess what happens? Bang! He makes the tackle.
That is impressive.
You love to see quarterbacks willing to make a tackle after a mistake like that. Love it.
Some folks said that his Heisman Trophy moment was catching that pass.
I'll take that.
It's this one.
I will take that.
That's a football
any
player.
time over catching a easy throwback to the quarterback against the Hoosiers.
So here is Cousins. Spartans down by 2 as we start the second quarter. 2 touchdowns, and they flex. Toss play, and this is Bell. Bell is off to a good start, and let's take a look at tonight's Impact Players presented by Chick-fil-A. That was supposed to be you, not me.
All right, I'll get you here. Kirk Cousins, we've seen him. We've talked about him, 3-year starter. Edwin Baker, although Bell right now is in the game doing well. B.J. Cunningham, I think before this game is over, Cunningham's going to have to make some plays out on the outside. And Worthy, Darrell Worthy, has not been a factor at all in the early going in this football game.
So here's Cousins. Joint linebacker blitz. He's picked up. Cousins goes one-on-one. Far side, in the air, incomplete. And Martin was the intended target that time, and Cromartie. And you will see Cromartie coming down the field with him.
Well, he had one-on-one opportunity against Cromartie, and you've got to be able to convert these. Cromartie recovers, and ball's a little bit underthrown. Cromartie gets there. You can see he arm bars the receiver to keep him away from the football. Wisconsin brought both linebackers, Claxton 9 and Borland. They picked up the blitz well. They had the coverage one-on-one that they wanted. They just weren't able to convert the pass downfield. Good coverage by Marcus Cromartie.
Now, Caper is the third down back. He's number 22, and he is in on this 3rd and 6. Good blocker, slides out, and they can't hook up. They slipped him out after he set the block, and they couldn't hook up, and the Spartans have to punt it away.
I think you and I saw the same thing. perfect time to call that. Pressure on third down and medium. They brought both of the linebackers. If he could have just waited just a little bit longer, and if Caper could have slid out there, not only does he catch that ball, but he streaks down the sidelines. There's nobody left. That's a touchdown.
Aberderis goes back deep for this punt. Mike Sadler punting. He did a terrific job against the Wolverines in that windy condition that they played in last week, and this time again inside at the 5-yard line. This youngster Mike Sadler, a redshirt freshman from Grand Rapids, backs up the Badger offense. Well, tomorrow at 8:15 p.m. Eastern, join Kirk Herbstreit. He'll be there with Reese Davis, Craig James. They'll unveil the new BCS rankings. Then you can dial back to Sunday Night Football. Herbie, I always look forward to that. Have to have a second monitor for the updated standings.
We're going to get you on there some this year, too.
I don't get home in time. All right, first down. Now Monty Ball is back in as the running back. Monty is stoned and driven back, and there's the big fella Worthy. Worthy with his first all Big Ten play of the night. I've been wondering where 99 is, and he finally took off that suit and put on his cape.
Well, this is what we've been talking about. Even at breaks and on the air. When Golston steps out of the lineup, you've got to be able to get penetration from the big fella. It's the first time he's been able to get across the offensive lineman. That time he gets by Oglesby and hits Monty Ball in the backfield before he can get started.
That's the way to play defensive tackle. That'll keep him on Mel Kiper's big board. A few more plays like that. Now Ewing in front of Ball. Play action. Russell's going to throw out of his end zone. In trouble. Fires it away. He was in trouble, and he threw it away as Allen, the linebacker, all over him. And it is a penalty. Intentional grounding has been called. From the end zone, intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding, number 16, offense. The foul occurred in the end zone. By rule, safety.
That's a safety.
Brett, watch him get to the left, and when he comes back to the right, he literally starts. He throws the football away from right behind where he took the football on the snap. He did not get outside of the tackle box area, and that is the right call by the official. There's not a receiver over there. He's not outside of the pocket. The right call. This crew's having a great game tonight.
By rule, when you intentionally ground it from the end zone, that's a safety. Now from the 20-yard line, the Badgers will give it back to the Spartans. But remember the first down play by Jarrell Worthy. When the big fella showed up for D'Antonio, the defense established his rhythm here.
Brent, let's also not overlook, it's the first time that Russell Wilson, in his brief Wisconsin career, has faced some adversity. The interception the previous series. Now here another critical mistake, trying to throw the football away and being called for intentional grounding in the end zone for the safety. Keep an eye on that as he comes back out of the field next time for the Badgers offense.
So they will kick it away from the 20-yard line. Alec Lerner, the kickoff man, and back deep are Hill and Martin. Martin is the punt return specialist. And so here we go. Opportunity for the Spartans. This is Martin from the 8-yard line. Martin trying to find running room, and he's driven out of bounds at the 28. And let us check in with Reese Davis for an update.
Brett, some on ABC are watching Washington and Stanford and Palo Alto. First and goal, Andrew Luck. A lot of traffic back there. Colby Fleener catches it. Could have been picked. Stanford has a 17-7 lead on the Huskies early in the second.
And here it is 14-2 the Badgers. And now Kirk Cousins needs a drive. Baker has checked back in as his running back. Off the long count, first down, slant, complete to Cunningham. A 9-yard gain on first down, and Rauscher decides to go ahead and throw it on 1st and 10.
And he knows he can count on a couple seniors and a couple veterans. The ball is behind B.J. Cunningham, but the hands by Cunningham eventually is what leads to an opportunity to make a play. See how the ball is thrown behind him? The importance of catching the football with your hands and not your chest on display right there by the senior from Westerville, Ohio.
Second down and short. H-back for the lead blocker. Baker cuts for the first down. Crosses the 40-yard line. Brought down by Borland.
And throw the football on 1st and 10. Have some success. It sets up a second and manageable. And now it's a little bit easier to run the football against that Badger front. One thing we've seen is Wisconsin's defensive line's been doing a lot of slanting and angling, and it's caused some problems for Michigan State in the communication in the running game.
Kirk Cousins is from Holland, Michigan, where he played high school, but he grew up as a youngster in Barrington, Illinois. Big fan of the Northwestern Wildcats when they went to the Rose Bowl that year. First down and 10. Here he is backing up again. Middle's open. Got it. Tight end all alone. And that was Linthicum, Brian Linthicum, the senior from Charlottesville, Virginia.
This is a great touch throw here by Cousins. You got to get it over Taylor, 53, the linebacker, but you have to throw it tight enough that the receiver, the tight end here, has a chance to secure the football and take the hit by Aaron Henry. If you float that ball in there, not only could it be intercepted, the receiver also could get separated from the football. He put just enough touch on that to give Linthicum a chance to catch it and get down to protect himself before Henry hit him.
Bell is in. Anderson is your lead fullback. That power eye formation. Play action, end around, double end around. Cousins with blocking for Martin. Martin breaks free. 15, 10, touchdown Spartans. The safety turned it back toward the Spartans. And now they score their first touchdown.
What a great call there by Dan Rauscher. Misdirection on the double reverse gets Wisconsin out of position, and the speed there by Martin in the open field, the difference. Remember, it was Martin last year in this game that set up a turnaround also with a big return.
Dan Conroy adds the extra point. Yes, indeed, he did, Herbie. After a penalty against the Badgers, they had to punt again in the second quarter, and Martin took it the distance. And here he is on the double reverse. Game on, everybody. Game on.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by new Dr. Pepper 10. With the classic taste of Dr. Pepper packed into 10 bold-tasting calories. One thing's for sure, it's not for women.
Well, this year's Michigan State homecoming theme, glow green, go white. Start of a new Spartan homecoming tradition, calling for Spartans all over town. They switch their lights to green during homecoming week.
Martin again turns this game around. The two mistakes by the quarterback, Russell Wilson, open the door here. They got the safety, and then Martin with the big touchdown on the double reverse to get Sparty back in this game, down 5.
Abadaris and White back for the Badgers. Fielded at the 5 by White. White out to the 29-yard line.
Interesting time to call this play, Brent, because the defense that goes with the blitz. So it's a bit of a risk. Poor little walk, and he'll come as well. So they're going to come with a blitz. Michigan State taking a chance here. Double reverse, but when they call the double reverse, look at all the white jerseys coming this way. Borland gets caught up in the traffic, and Aaron Henry is all by himself, number 7, against a convoy of blockers. Does the best job that he can. Great play call, great quickness by Martin and a good job of just being able to execute that play at the right time. They took a chance and it paid off.
Monty Ball back in as the running back for the Badgers. Play action, first down. Wilson keeps it. Wilson to the 45-yard line, and he is down with a first down as we check in with Reese Davis for an update.
Brett, just as a safety turned our game around, this play could turn around the USC Notre Dame game. George Atkinson III, who took a kickoff back for a touchdown against Michigan State earlier this season, has his second kickoff return for a touchdown this year that ties the Notre Dame single-season record. The likes of Allen Rossum, Rocket Ismail, 17-7, Trojans still have the lead.
And, of course, Reese, he's the son of a great NFL player, defensive back with the Oakland Raiders. His twin brother also plays on that Irish team. And Monty Ball keeps it here for the Badgers. The last two possessions for the Badgers, the interception and the safety.
And I find it interesting that Paul Chryst on the first play, after the two mistakes by his quarterback, puts the ball right back in his hands. Paul Chryst calling a bootleg and getting him the football and kind of just showing him, hey, I believe in you. Ends up working out for him, and now they can kind of get back to doing what they did earlier in this game by running the football and mixing in the play action.
Base 4-3 defense. And it is stopped before its start. False start. I believe it was on the outside. Inexcusable.
Number 1.
Can't have a wide receiver with a false start.
Penalty. Still. Second down.
That's Nick Toon, and he knows better than that. The senior whose daddy was a great one with the Badgers and then with the New York Jets. Second down at 11. Back in the gun. Keeping it again. Breaks a tackle out of bounds near the 50-yard line. Picked up about 4 yards on that run. Herbie, when the Spartans put on the reels of tape and took a long looks at Russell Wilson, you know, they told us that the words that came to mind were composed, moxie. He can turn a bad play into a good one. Keeps his feet moving, plugged into the system. All great praise for this quarterback, but as you said, facing his first adversity of the season.
Adversity in a defense and an atmosphere, their first true test on the road.
Can't get there. Pocket's clean, fires for the first down, and that was a terrific throw over there to Abrederis on that sideline.
Wouldn't you agree the most amazing thing about Russell Wilson, and you and I have been watching him for 3 years down in Raleigh at North Carolina State, but how quickly he and his receivers, Abrederis and Nick Toon, and even including the tight end, Jacob Pedersen, the rhythm and the way they can get in sync between, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 years to develop that. He's literally been in Madison since early July, and when it's crunch time, he just seems to get into a flow with Abrederis and Toon both.
On the end around, and they are attacking the right side of that defense. Abrederis, he walks almost to the 20, pushed out of bounds, close to the 22-yard line. That's a gain of 21, and here they come.
And that's the jet sweep that you see so many times in the spread formations, but this is more of a traditional offense. Abrederis comes around. The left tackle, Ricky Wagner, does a good job of turning his man, and then you see a block downfield also by Brady Ewing. Outstanding blocking out on the perimeter, but it started up front with the jet sweep that time of the left tackle, Ricky Wagner.
They're attacking that spot where William Golston could be holding forth. Taking off and tackled at the 20-yard line by Johnny Adams, the cornerback.
When you get down into the red zone, Michigan State will bring perimeter pressure. This is the corner. Johnny Adams is going to force Russell Wilson to want to step up into the pocket. One of the few mistakes we've seen from Monty Ball. He did not do a good job that time on picking up the pressure. He knew it was coming. He just wasn't able to sustain his block, and Adams forced Wilson that time to step up.
Monty Ball battling just short of the first down, but it is third and manageable coming up for Wilson and the Badgers.
We talked about Jarrell Worthy. He's now actually, oh boy.
This ball going back down.
Maybe he just stumbled. Worthy just, he's been in and out and in and out. And now that it's
Referee steps in now, Herbie on Ball. And White comes in. Let's take a look at the end of this play now and see what happens. He got slammed in the helmet pretty good. There is no question. He is down.
Yeah.
And then he gets back up and medical attention immediately. White is the running back as a result. He took a big-time head blow is what it appeared. So White couldn't get the daylight. He is stopped by Kyler Ellsworth, a sophomore linebacker. Kyle Ellsworth with a big-time stop.
A different kind of running back. And of course, Monty Ball and Brent. Kyle Ellsworth made a heck of a play. Right here, 41. Watch him take on the block by Pedersen, fights through it, and then makes the tackle. And there's the safety, Trenton Robinson, helping out as well. But the sophomore that time, Ellsworth, really made the play.
So here is Welsh to attempt the 30-yard field goal. Blocked. So the Spartans in the last 3 series have had an interception, a safety, and now a blocked field goal. Denard, the corner, coming in on it, gets a piece of it.
This is what you've got to do to be able to make plays here. You see the hold is actually a little shaky. Denard gets in there. Allen gets in there. They attack the left side of the Wisconsin protection. Can see the hold is a little bit shaky that time by Brad Nortman. He eventually gets it down, but I think it disrupted the flow there between he and Welch. Meanwhile, Michigan State attacking, and again, the defense and special teams provide a big play and a spark here for the Spartans.
Sparty with a chance to take the lead with a touchdown. We get a timeout. Just inside of 6 minutes left here in the first half with Kirk Herbstreit and Aaron Andrews. I'm Brent Musburger. Bell is in as the Spartan running back following the blocked field goal, and over on the sideline, Monty Ball still being tended to. From the gun, Cousins with that handoff, and that is Bell. And so here's your Aflac trivia question here tonight.
Here we go.
I make it a favorite. I like Herbie tonight. Duck. Okay, what two former Michigan State quarterbacks are currently on second down now?
I know one for sure.
Absolutely. Second down and 6. Load up. Power to the right. Toss in that direction. And short of the first down. Good defense. All right, Herbie, go ahead.
I know Hoyer
Right.
for sure with New England.
I'm surprised you don't have the other one.
The other one's an easy one, and it's just
Right down the road.
it's killing me.
Right down the road.
Smoker.
Drew Stanton
Drew Stanton
with
still
the
hanging.
Lions. Okay, there we are. Hoyer you got. There's our two rascals right there. Okay. So
How about the job?
the last 2 starters
Yeah.
before Cousins are on NFL rosters.
Maybe that's a trend here for Kirk Cousins.
Exactly.
How about Hoyer, the job he's done? Not bad. You step in, get behind Tom Brady, learn a few great things. He's done well when I've seen him play in some of the exhibition games. Big third down.
Third down and 4. Cousins fires for the first down. You know, Herbie, Todd McShay said that Hoyer would have been drafted much higher, but there were a lot of drop passes in here by the Spartans. Todd McShay thought he was going to have a chance to make the roster.
He's proved Todd right. How about Deion Sims with his size there? 6'5", 276 pounds. Now, I don't know about you, but if it's third down and 4 or third down and 5, I'm looking up the big fella to try to get a mismatch with his body and just match up with one of those linebackers, and that's exactly what they did.
Coaches say he's a terrific athlete.
Big
Got a
time
great
player.
vertical leap.
Yep.
He's going to be a big-time tight end. He's a redshirt sophomore out of Detroit, number 80. Deion Sims has 3 touchdown catches. Now play action. Cousins stands tall. Got a man wide open. Complete at the 45. Length to come. That is the second time that the tight end has come free.
It's a wheel route, actually. They just kind of move him to the outside. They motion him. He comes out, and then down the sideline, he gets lost in coverage. And I'll tell you, we just talked about Sims, but Linthicum is at 6'5", 245 pounds, and that's about the third time now we've seen Kirk Cousins with a nice touch in leading his tight end or his receiver into the Wisconsin coverage where only his player can make a play on the football.
So Baker's into the running back. Anderson's your fullback, number 42, former high school wrestler, walk-on football player. He's a tough hombre. Leads the way. Watch 42 now, trying to seek and destroy. Let's him pick up a couple more yards. I knew you'd like
You
that.
and I love fullbacks. If there's a crew in the country that loves and appreciates fullbacks, it's you and I. We give them as much love as we can, and they deserve it. Look at it. Look at his body. He'll never get a carry or a catch all year. He's just in there to be a tank. Open things up for Baker and Bell.
Former defensive guy, and they switched him over to fullback. And he'll take you on at the point of attack, as you just saw. 2nd down and 5.
Gotta love those grapplers playing football.
Absolutely.
You know?
There's Baker right behind him again. Inside of 3 minutes here. They'll come right back. Close to a first down. Taylor makes the stop, and Anderson leading the way.
Brent, this is a hard-hitting game tonight, and it's Big Ten football. To me, this is like the Steelers and the Ravens in December at Heinz Field. Look at it. Not only do you see the fullback Anderson, but the big lineman Joel Foreman, a 4-year starter, colliding not just with the defensive lineman, but Borland and Taylor are trying to fill the hole and take on those big guys.
Will they go for the play action here on 3rd and short, or will they keep the hammer coming? Toss play. Tried to run Baker outside. No first down. Should have gone to the play action.
Oh, yeah, of course, of course. Well, Wisconsin was selling out against the run. And I'll tell you, Antonio Finellis, 26, veteran who's been around, a senior, small guy at 5'9", very, very tough in run support, and that time taking care of the edge of the defense.
Now the Badgers substitute 4 defensive players.
Interesting.
Get stout in the middle if they can on this 4th and 2. There's that defensive front. Buttram, who is questionable, is down as one of the defensive linemen. He is number 95. And Cousins is going to throw for it. Straight back, fired, complete. Cunningham breaks free. Touchdown. Sparty's going to take its first lead. .35-yard touchdown. That came on 4th and 2.
Brett, there are so many things that happen in a football game that at times you overlook as a fan or even a journalist. That was one of them. A senior quarterback on 4th and 2, waiting for his senior receiver, B.J. Cunningham, to get to the opening, and he finally got there, but the patience by Cousins was the key.
Gave up 14 unanswered. Answered with 16 unanswered of their own. All right, Reese, thank you very much. It is eerie here in East Lansing. It was a year ago in the 4th quarter. It was 4th and 1, and it was the same combination. Cousins hitting Cunningham for the touchdown that made it a 10-point advantage and put the game away. And now here on 4th down, that combo strikes again with 1:20 to go in the first half, and the Spartans have their first lead of the game. Mumar will kick it off. Up to the 16 is Abruderis. Going to the 30-yard line. First the TD.
When you go back to this touchdown, and here's B.J. Cunningham. He's going to run an option route, and he's going to have to work to eventually find the opening. They clear Martin, tight end out in the flat, but watch the veteran quarterback Cousins, and watch how Cunningham works to find that opening. The defense loses him in coverage, but it's the communication and the rhythm between a veteran quarterback and a veteran receiver that have been working a lot of years together that came through there on 4th and short. Great execution.
Wilson's turn. Pump fakes White, sacked at the 20-yard line, and Allen. So Allen is starting to bring heat from that linebacking spot.
Tanekas Allen and these linebackers, it just seems these last 2 or 3 series have really started to pin their ears back, and they're starting to get more and more penetration. It's a miscommunication off to the right side there, and Allen came through.
You know, a year ago, Herbie D'Antonio was still in the hospital, this time with a blood clot after the heart attack. And he was watching a commercial on that 4th and 1. It's on a delay, but he was also plugged into the Michigan State radio. As he watched our commercial, this is what Coach heard in the hospital.
Kirk Cousins under center. Starts to his left. Play fakes. Fires back in the end zone. Caught! B.J. Cunningham! Touchdown MSU! What a play by the green and white. Spartans lead him 33-24.
He said it was surreal to be in the hospital watching a commercial and hearing that in the background. 30-second delay, and then they came in with the touchdown on 4th and 1. And here is this play right here, Herbie.
Can you imagine, after hearing it on the radio, being the head coach of your team during the biggest game maybe that you've had in the program since you've taken over? You hear the call from your own radio guy, and then to see the touchdown.
Now, the handoff as they come back. Herbie, do they have enough time? They've only got a minute left here. They don't want to make another mistake.
Well, not only that, it's just the way this entire last probably quarter and a half have gone. Maybe the last half quarter have gone. They're almost better off just trying to get out of Dodge, but Michigan State's thinking about stopping the clock and trying to get the ball back to Kirk Cousins.
Now, there is D'Antonio. We talked, Herbie, about the fact that he was such a good defensive coordinator with Jim Tressel. They are still very good friends. In fact, Jim Tressel's nephew, Mike Tressel, is on the coaching staff here. And yes, Tressel and D'Antonio do talk. Jim Tressel is about to go to work as an Indianapolis Colt assistant. He will help them out with replay up in the booth. They are very, very close friends. We asked D'Antonio, what was the difference in that Ohio State defense and the way you coach here? He said at Ohio State he had more of his linebackers, you remember that group, walk up to the line. He likes to sit more in base 4-3 here with the Spartans.
He had some great linebackers when he was coaching at Ohio State, some great secondary people, and he and Jim Tressel not only coaching at Ohio State, but going all the way back to Youngstown State.
And that is Jim Tressel's nephew. So now here we go. 3rd down and a bunch. Crowd howling. Russell, a screen pass to White against that pressure. And White is out to the 35-yard line, and Drummond makes a stop.
And Michigan State's going to stop the clock here. They're going to have about, they actually try to call a timeout with about 50 seconds to go. The clock continues to move. They'll put more time on the clock, get the ball back to Cousins. But don't you agree that this offense is out of sync without Monty Ball? James White's a great back, but he's a different kind of back fitting in with this offensive line than Monty Ball.
I think they're out of sync because of that Spartan defense.
You're right about that. But they missed that hard running from Monty Ball.
They're going to evaluate Monty Ball at the halftime, Herbie, and let us hope. I still think he took a severe blow to the helmet.
Yeah, no question.
All right, the chase heads to NASCAR's biggest wild card, Talladega. Herbie, if you're going to go to one race, go to Talladega. Of course, I like all those tents outside those parties. Carl Edwards is now the points leader, and here he is, 5 over Kevin Harvick. And there's Mr. Kenseth from Wisconsin. He's probably saying, what's wrong with my Badgers right now?
Yeah, he's loving watching this game, but where's 48?
Fell out, got smoked. And oh, by the way, that is the nickname for Tony Stewart.
That's your guy, right?
Here we go. Martin is back deep. Yeah, they'll reset that game.
Should be about at 50 or 49. Oh, I guess they lost 5 seconds. You can see Michigan State trying to call a timeout with 49 seconds.
Remember, they've blocked the field goal. They now block a punt, and here we go. They'll fall on it. That's in the end zone, waiting for the call. The referee and the line judge are back there in the end zone. They're going to have to sort it out here as Sparty has blocked a field goal and now a punt. Ellsworth at touchdown, Michigan State.
He's coming from right here, right around the up back. Nobody picks him up. Burge, the offensive lineman who's up there, doesn't pick it up. Ellsworth gets right around him, times it perfectly. It's a mad scramble for the football, and they get into the end zone for a touchdown. Boy, oh boy, has this game turned.
We talked about Mike Tressel. He's the special teams coach. And tonight they have blocked a field goal, and now they block a punt. And they lead it 23-14 as Ellsworth comes up with another huge play. Cousins and the Spartans are in business.
He comes right up the middle. You can see Burge barely even moves to his right, and as soon as he just took a step and Ellsworth went right by him, he had to have a feeling in his stomach where he just thought, oh no. All he could do is look. So many times we watch college football and they mistime the leap, or they they jump to the wrong spot. That time Ellsworth timed it up just perfectly. You mentioned Mike Tressel and how he coaches it. That was textbook right there, and set up the Spartans to keep this momentum as they head into the half. And remember, Michigan State gets the ball to start the second half.
So the miscues on the part of the Badgers here tonight. They have thrown the interception when Toon looked the wrong direction. They have given up a safety in this game. They have had a blocked field goal. And now they have had a blocked punt. That is their last 4 possessions in order. And Sparty, after giving up 14 points, has stunned the unbeaten Badgers. Abrederis looking for the return. Up into at the 27-yard line.
And Brent, to think about how this game started. Wisconsin drove 85 yards and put points on the board. Michigan State's first play, a fumble. Wisconsin 2 plays later, Monty Ball's in the end zone. The crowd's out of the game. It's Wisconsin 14-0 on the road. So much for being challenged. And of course, I think we saw that the turnover and the safety turn the momentum of this game around, and Michigan State's been able to capitalize on this momentum.
Let's remember that Monty Ball has been lost for the rest of the first half, and James White is now stoned by Isaiah Lewis. Well, there is Ball, shaken up, appeared to have taken a blow to the helmet.
Different offense without him. They're going to have to make some adjustments with Paul Chryst.
Listen to this crowd as the final seconds tick away the first half. Let's go down below to Aaron Andrews.
Miscue after miscue for your guys, considering the way you start. What's happened?
Well, the big thing is we didn't handle ourselves, obviously, in the last series there with the punt. Nothing really special we haven't seen on film. We just got to block our 4. Offensively, we lost our mojo there. Got to get back out. Make first downs. Do the things that we've done.
You talked about being concerned about special teams. You also said you needed to get your defense off the field on 3rd and now 4th down. What adjustment do you make?
Yeah, 3rd down has been killing us. You know, we had 3 guys trying to play the ball instead of playing the man. Got a little big on him for a minute. And then special teams, we had, you know, we're kicking off in the start second half. We got to set the tone.
Quickly, do you have an update on Monty Ball?
He's good to go.
Great. Thanks, Brent.
Our score at halftime, 23-14 Sparty. Let's send you back to the studio with Reese, Mark, and Lou. Here's the Wendy's halftime report. What a turnaround, Reese. Welcome to ESPN College Football Prime Time, presented by Hampton Hotels. A very good sign. Monty Ball with his helmet on. He rushed for 68 yards before he left with an injury, and the Badgers down by 9 need their ace running back. As you take a look at their quarterback, Russell Wilson, and Kirk, what's your feeling now? How could the Badgers stop the bleeding here?
Well, Michigan State gets the football back, and Kirk Cousins in the last few possessions have been able to get things going. Obviously, the Badgers need to get back into attack mode. They controlled things early. Offensively, Monty Ball is the key. They've got to get back to running the football to take some of the pressure off of Russell Wilson. This is the first time Wilson's faced adversity, and they're on the road. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens here in the second half.
All right, and like you said, guess who gets the ball to start the second half? The Spartans. Badgers won the coin toss, and they elected to take it. They went right down the field for a 7-0 lead, and so here we go. Low kick fielded on the 11-yard line by Nick Hill, and Hill is upended at the 22-yard line as we check in down below with Aaron.
Brent, I had a chance to speak with Mark D'Antonio coming out of the half. He said he was very happy with the way his special teams played. I asked him what was the difference with his defense getting penetration on Russell Wilson, and he said just learning. As the game went on, we started to learn more. He said the biggest thing, though, you're going to stress here in the second half, tackling. You got to do it.
So Cousins will start the second half. 8 of 10, Herbie. Very efficient for 134 yards, 1 touchdown, no interception. Baker will be the running back for the Spartans.
Nothing too flashy, just making a lot of really sound decisions for this offense in the first half.
Open up with Baker into the middle, and he is out for about 7 yards before Southward makes the stop for the Badgers.
Looks like we have a player down for Wisconsin. Looks like Southward, the safety who was in for Shelton Johnson, who had to be taken out of the football game. He's been battling through a few injuries this year. You and I had Wisconsin against Nebraska, and Shelton Johnson was down. So Johnson's out of the game. Southward now dinged up.
You think about the two respective schedules of these two teams, and the one thing that jumped out at you is that the Michigan State schedule for D'Antonio has been extremely more difficult than what the Badgers have faced. This is a team that's gone on the road to South Bend, lost to Notre Dame, went down to Ohio State and really stoned the Buckeyes, and here they are at home against the Badgers. Next week they're off to Lincoln to take on Nebraska. So you talk about a tough road schedule for a football team.
Who would have thought before the season started that they would get through potentially Ohio State in Columbus, Michigan here, Wisconsin here, and then go to Lincoln and have a chance to potentially win all 4 of those games?
So Cousins, the senior signal caller, he's a great decision maker and a leader according to the coaches. Very calm young man. Shelton Johnson, Herbie, has checked in to that secondary now for the Badgers. Second down and 3, and Baker is stopped by Borland, the linebacker.
This game started off with a fumble. The very first play for Michigan State's offense, a fumble that resulted in 7 points for Wisconsin. A couple punts. Brent and I are thinking, uh-oh, Wisconsin's taking control of this game. But this game got completely turned around after the interception by Russell Wilson. And then the safety, the game started to change, and Michigan State rode that momentum at the end of the first half.
You heard Bielema say at the end of the half they have to get off the field on 3rd down. Caper is the specialist for this 3rd down play. Cousins looks for him, throws to him, first down. There is your 3rd down specialist. Now remember, a few years ago he was the #1 running back here in East Lansing. Now he has a new role.
Yeah, he is the 3rd down back because of his hands and ability to pick up blitzes. This time he's out there by himself with Marcus Cromartie. The ball is thrown low, but this gives you an idea of how quick he is and how great his hands are. Good concentration there to make the catch and then get upfield for that first.
Baker is back. He's the Spartans' home run hitter. And Todd Anderson, the punishing fullback. Linthicum, let's check that. He was back there, lined up as a fullback, and then he flexed up to the tight end spot, and they needed Anderson that time because Claxton and Buttram were all over him.
And I think Kirk Cousins was a little bit confused there and maybe caught off and surprised. He had a check with me at the line of scrimmage where you evaluate the defense, you look at the front, you look at the secondary coverage, and then you make a call either to the right or to the left. That time there was an adjustment. Chris Borland, 44, cheated to the outside, and the defense slanted the opposite way from the way I think Cousins expected. The result, a 2-yard loss.
Back at the gun, Martin in motion, and a direct snap to Bell. So Bell and a little bit of a wildcat look, huh? And he's across the 45-yard line.
Tackle made by Louis Zeku and Ethan Heber.
Here's another big 3rd down, Brent, that Bielema talked about with Aaron. Go back to this game last year in the second half. It was a close ball game. Michigan State owned the time of possession. Wisconsin could not get off the field.
Keith Nickel, one-time quarterback who's now a wide receiver, is split out to the right on this 3rd down.
Here they come. Back down.
Badgers against a linebacker blitz, almost got there. The pressure was coming from Mike Taylor. The junior linebacker brought the backer blitz that time.
And they also showed blitz by Borland, and then Borland drops back, and then Taylor came. An offensive line moved to the right, anticipating the blitz from Chris Borland, and then he ends up dropping back, and it frees up Mike Taylor to come free.
Let us not overlook what this freshman punter did in the first half. He buried the Badgers back on the 5, and that led to the safety. He's back on the field now to punt again for Michigan State. Abbrederis is back deep. This one not nearly as good. And it's going to be spotted by the 25-yard line.
I don't know about you, but I can't wait to see Monty Ball back in this lineup, and let's see how Russell Wilson responds on the road here. They have had 4 straight possessions that have not gone well. The health of Monty Ball is a key for the Badgers' attack here in the second half if they want to come back and win this game.
Denzel Drone, who was filling in for the suspended William Golston, has to get ready. Marcus Rush is their other defensive end, and this time he's lined up on the right. Play action, 1st down. Fires wide open downfield. Abbrederis near midfield, and Russell opens up for Paul Chryst to start the second half.
A little bit of play action here, and they're picking on the flat coverage. This man right here. You're going to have one man that's going to end up going here, another guy downfield. Watch the corner on the opposite side here. He just kind of sits. He ends up going back a little bit and then coming up late. Good patience that time by Russell Wilson to evaluate that soft coverage and then end up going over top of it for a big gain.
He's 7 of 8 for 97 yards, touchdown, and an interception. Abbrederis is the motion receiver, gets a handoff, and Norman was ready for that play. He really slowed it down quickly. Number 10 is an instinctive linebacker, a junior from Detroit.
And has great speed. He and Allen both on the edge. You know, Wisconsin started fast tonight. Their first couple drives, it looked good. Couple drives, and they had 14 points up on the board. But after that, we've been talking about it a lot, how this game turned around. The interception, the safety, and then the blocked field goal and the blocked punt got Michigan State, got them back into this game and got the momentum going.
Wilson looking for the shovel pass, throws Abbrederis. Abbrederis battles his way. So Russell Wilson had the initial play blown up and created out of it for a 1st down. This is terrific quarterbacking by Russell Wilson.
Great call, Brent. You're right. I think he was trying to slow play the defensive end, draw him to him, but it just didn't work out. But instead of giving up on the play, he ends up saying, you know what the heck, I'm not going to run for it. I got Abbrederis out there, my security blanket. I'll just flip it out to him for a 1st.
Now on 1st and 10. Play action again. Wide open is ball. Monty touches the ball for the first time, and he's banged out of bounds on the 20-yard line. They come up throwing to the running back.
Watch the safety here get lost as you have the running back. I mean, it's not much of a fake. He's anxious to get out on his route. But the safety that time, Isaiah Lewis, is responsible for that. He's got to be able to feel and sense the back slipping out of the backfield. Nobody picked him up. That's on the safety, Isaiah Lewis.
The play comes in slowly, but there's still plenty of time here for Russell Wilson. Brady Ewing, the fullback. Monty Ball is the tailback. Play action again in a foot race. Russell Wilson keeps it. Tries to get the edge. Banged out of bounds at the 20. Trenton Robinson came up and covered up on it. But the backside coverage off that play action was right there.
Outstanding play here by Michigan State. Boy, you can really see that he sells the fake hard. There aren't any receivers out there. They were counting on that defense collapsing down. Rush is there, and then the safety comes up there to clean it up, Robinson.
Pat Narduzzi has made a big change. He is flopping Marcus Rush as a defensive end here. Second down and long, and here comes the blitz. And Ball stays with it to the 16-yard line. Pickleman in on the stop with Adams.
They're also, once Wisconsin moves into this red zone area, they get really aggressive with their blitz package. They love to bring the safety Lewis. That time they brought Lewis as well as the outside linebacker, Chris Norman.
Anthony Rashad White checks into the middle of the defense now for the Spartans. This on third down. Straight back, flush to the left. On the move, he throws beautifully, and that time he missed a wide open target. One of the few times that we have seen Russell Wilson on the move miss a target as badly as he missed Pedersen. That would have been a touchdown.
And Brandy did a good job of evaluating the linebacker in coverage here, Gardner. Gardner kind of comes up, then he sits back, and then he comes up, and he had him right behind it. He tried to put a nice touch on it, but the ball floated on him behind his wide open receiver for the touchdown.
Philip Welsh on for the 33-yard field goal. Trailing by 9. Remember the last field goal attempt blocked by the Spartans. Not this time. And he has cut it to 6. 23-17. One of the great receivers, Gene Washington, honored here before the start of this game. He goes into the College Football Hall of Fame, the Ring of Honor here. I want to tell you, folks, he was one of the great receivers I ever saw in East Lansing. Then he went to the Minnesota Vikings, played 7 years, was injured, and spent his last 2 years with the Denver Broncos. And no one is more deserving of that honor than Gene Washington. And he's up there with teammates George Webster and Bubba Smith. Let's get Clinton Jones, the running back, up there too. He was a great member of that 65 and 66 team.
Way to give Clinton Jones a little love there, Brent.
He was a big-time running
back. Get him up
back.
there. They've had some good backs over the years, haven't they?
They really have.
Saw Lorenzo White a couple nights ago.
Did you?
What a great back he was.
Fielded at the 5 by Nick Hill. Nick Hill returns it for the Spartans, close to the 30-yard line. And so NFL Countdown, 3 hours with Chris Berman and his gang. And so who's your survivor team tomorrow? You know, the Rams don't look very good with Jay Feely quarterbacking in tomorrow against the Cowboys. What about the Cowboys? Are they a lock? They'll talk about all the stories tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. Eastern time. First down and 10 coming up here, Herbie, and there was a player shaken up.
Interesting that, let's make a point of this. Michigan State last week, a lot of penalties, 6 personal fouls. A lot of talk about William Golston this week being taken off the field, being suspended. You know how many penalties? So, and I don't want to jinx them. Michigan State doesn't have a penalty in the football game through a half of football.
Proving that they can do it.
That's right.
Here is Baker back in as the running back for Kirk Cousins. Play action, first down. Borland after the quarterback sacks him. Around the corner, Chris Borland, the sophomore from Kettering, Ohio. And he beat the blocker and took the QB to the deck.
Well, Todd Anderson, Brent, who you talked about earlier, 42, he's going to try to pick up Borland. You see the quickness there? It's one thing to take on an isolation block, but Borland makes the play and then he throws something. I don't know, is that an armband? I mean, he makes this play here. He pulls him down, he rips that towel and just says, get out of here, next play.
7 tackles for the middle linebacker. A tackling machine. Last week he had 15. Second down. Back with the running play, and look at number 44 in there again, too. No chance. He's in there along with Cahoot. Jordan Cahoot back in the starting lineup tonight, working with Buttram, and the two of them are in there.
Well, I know Wisconsin fans are excited to see Cahoot get into the football game, and he's been a guy who had an ankle injury last year against Ohio State. He had a hammy this year during camp. He's battled through some injuries, but he's healthy now, which is very important with the injury to Patrick Buttram to get him into that lineup, and he's had a big game tonight.
Caper, the third down specialist, is alongside Cousins. 3rd and 15. Let's see if Cousins tries to go more downfield, though. In trouble, steps away, so he will drop it off underneath to the tight end, who's short of the first down. Linthicum didn't have a chance with that throw, but they pick up a few yards, and now they get ready to punt it away.
And because of some of the injuries that they've sustained in the back end, you're seeing that Peniel Jean, the freshman in this lineup, he's 5'11", 190 pounds, taking on Linthicum at 6'5", about 250 pounds, and makes the tackle, keeping everything in front on 3rd and long, make the tackle and force the Spartans to punt. Second time here in their first 2 possessions of the second half.
Now, Mike Sadler had a poor punt on his last effort, so let's watch. Abradaris is back, standing on the Badgers' 25-yard line. This time, he drills it. Abradaris at the 20, and here he comes. And he is down at the 28-yard line, and that's where Russell Wilson and the Badgers will have the football. They're claiming there was a fumble, the Spartans are standing there claiming there was a fumble. But they're saying, the officials are saying it's going to be Wisconsin football.
It is Wisconsin's ball. First out. Timeout.
So we'll take a break. As you can take a look, Instant Replay is taking a look at it. We'll be right back.
ESPN's College Football Primetime. Brought to you by Buick. See real stories of human achievement on the Buick Human Highlight Reel at ncaa.com/Buick. And Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go.
The Badgers trailing Sparty. One of the best mascots in the college game.
Wisconsin got back to the basics on that last drive. They ended up settling for a field goal, but running the football and the play action pass of Russell Wilson.
James White, number 20, is behind Ewing as the running back. 1st and 10. Let's see what Chris dials up. It's a running play with White pounding into the middle as we go to Reese Davis in the studio for SportsCenter right now. Reese.
And Brent, SportsCenter right now is presented by Discover Card. Notre Dame was on the verge of tying the game at 17 against USC when they had their 6th red zone turnover of the year. Jawanja Starling scoop and score. SC had a 24-10 lead, but Notre Dame answered with a quick touchdown, so the Irish still hanging in. SportsCenter coming after the game, then college football final.
All right, Reese, and here the Badgers have pulled back to within 6. Once up by 14. Come back with White to the 40-yard line, and Norman makes still another stop.
What you lose with the power, you pick up with the quickness and the vision and how he cuts back right there. That's a great job of picking up and seeing the block by Travis Frederick, 72, and cutting off right behind to that is Frederick picked up Max Bola, but good quickness there and outstanding vision there by the running back, James White.
There's that 4-3 Spartan look. Play action, Wilson, and he's got Abradaris on the slant. Got him for a first down to the Michigan State 39, and now Wilson is starting to carve him up in the secondary.
And Trenton Robinson, the safety, because again, much like that first drive, respecting the play action. And there's Jarrell Worthy, who's been battling through some injuries this whole first half. We'll see if he's going to be okay. But Brent, the running game sets this play up. The senior Trenton Robinson is just out of position because he wants to come up and be involved in the tackle. There he is right here. See how he's sneaking up there? It's a good time by Paul Chryst to try to get behind him and find that opening. Abbrederis, just an outstanding route runner, a high school quarterback, great punt returner.
Now take a look at Worthy, because you heard some applause in the background. He jogged off under his own power. So it appears as though their big defensive lineman, 6'3", 310 pounds, will be back in this game. We shall see. First down and 10 meanwhile. Monty Ball back in as the Badger hammer. Play action, rolling right, got time, gonna throw it back. And he threw to the wrong man. He had a receiver, Pedersen, wide open for a touchdown, and Russell did not read it.
Brent, you're all over it. Pedersen, not only, I want you to appreciate the effort here by this tight end. No, don't mind, he's going to fall, and then he ends up finally clearing. The play action, I think, caught the defense off guard. See, Pedersen, he's on the ground. And I don't know if that's what caused that confusion, because he went down on the ground, but nobody picked him up. And I think he was trying to buy enough time, but he just didn't quite have enough to locate Pedersen after going to the ground.
White in is the running back for the Badgers. Without Worthy, running at the middle, Pickelman makes the stop for the Spartans.
That battle inside continues to be an integral part of this game.
Now, let's take a look at how Russell Wilson has done. He is 3 of 4 tonight. Third down passing. That's impressive, Herbie.
It sure is. And 50% tonight on their third down conversions. They came into tonight's game converting 60%, which is #1 in the country.
Wilson has running room to the left. Fumbles it. Goes back out of bounds. It'll be Badger football.
We have talked so much this year about this element in the Wisconsin offense. Third down. Russell Wilson with the football in his hands is so dangerous. If he holds on to that football, I think he's able to outrun the defensive end and get to that first down marker. Just dropped the ball. Strayhorn was chasing him from behind.
Now fourth down. Martin goes back. The Spartans have to respect the fake in this situation. See if they take a 5-yard penalty if they run it down and back it up. Punt is high. Coverage team goes down, bounces inside the 5 and into the end zone. It'll come out on the 20. Spartan football when you come back. Monday Night Football down in Jacksonville, Florida. The Baltimore Ravens against the Jaguars, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. Now, let me show you one of the big fellas in this game. Some night we'll be playing a Monday Night Football. Worthy, Aaron Andrews telling us it's a little cramping problem, and the big man wants to come. But look at that. Does he look like a defensive lineman?
He wants back in that lineup. There's not a cramp going to hold him back.
So Cousins is there. Flares the pass to Bell. And Bell slips a tackle that time. Made the most out of that, didn't he?
Be surprised if Michigan State doesn't try to become a little bit more aggressive with their play calling and with how they attack Wisconsin. The first 2 possessions here to start the second half, Wisconsin has just beaten Michigan State up front and putting them in a lot of third and long situations. They've been able to get the Spartans off the field. I think the answer to that for Michigan State is they've got to get a little bit more aggressive with some throws there on 1st and 10.
2nd down and 4. Quick strike to the outside, and this will be 3rd down as Martin slips. You know, we had a chance to talk to Cousins about playing the Badgers tonight. You gonna miss anything? And he said, I'll tell you one thing I'm not gonna miss, and that's J.J. Watt lined up out there at defensive end. Kirk said that they went in at halftime last week, or last year, the tight end went to the offensive coordinator and says, I can't block that guy. And the offensive coordinator, what do you mean you can't block him? He said J.J. Watt was all over him. Of course, he's now playing Sunday football. 3rd down and 5. Downfield, got the 1st down, and you know who he went to. Number 3, his main man, B.J. Cunningham.
Wisconsin brought a blitz, and when they brought the blitz from the boundary, there are 2 Michigan State receivers matched up here against just one defender. Here, once the receiver comes in motion, Martin comes in motion, Finellis is going to come on the blitz. And by the time the defense tries to adjust, it's a 2-on-1 advantage, and it was an easy read for the quarterback.
On 1st down, there's that quick strike to Cunningham on the outside. He's got him one-on-one. That was just a read by the quarterback. Out there on an island is his favorite target. He gave it to him and said, go after it.
We talked about them getting a little bit more aggressive. They've not run the football here on this drive. They are trying to say, Kirk Cousins, your decision-making, your accuracy has got to lead us here to get this offense going a little bit here in the 2nd half, and that's what he's been able to do here. Good decision.
Remember, he's won as many games as any quarterback in Michigan State history, tied with Jeff Smoker. And win tonight, he'd be the all-time leader in wins. Terrific decision maker, as Herbie has pointed out throughout this game. He has Anderson back now as his fullback. And here is Bell banging for the 1st down to the 40-yard line. And a punishing drive is underway this time.
And when you throw the football, it makes life a little bit easier on the offensive line to get better blocking angles and to get leverage against the defensive line where they can get up to the 2nd level. That time, Bell just ran right through the left shoulder of Mike Taylor, the big physical linebacker from Wisconsin. Fresh legs coming in for Edwin Baker. It's nice to have 2 backs, especially in this conference.
Coming down now for the last 30 seconds of the 3rd quarter. Michigan State once led it by 9. Badgers with a field goal in the 3rd are within 6. And a running play to the outside by Bell. Again, I go back to the fact that this coaching staff at Michigan State has been together. Down in Cincinnati, they came up here along with Mark D'Antonio. It's believed that the defensive coordinator, Pat Narduzzi, will get his chance soon as a head coach someplace as he looks down. One of the things about Narduzzi, folks, if you're in town, ask him where the good Italian restaurants are. Tell the coach DeLucas was a dandy last year.
He's a Youngstown guy. He knows about great food.
That is the truth, my friend. So we've come to the end of 3. Come on back for our 4th quarter. It's going to be fun. Welcome back to ESPN College Football Primetime, presented by Hampton Hotels. I know, Herbie, you're a big fan of this band at Michigan State.
I'm telling you, he talked about, look at this guy, upside down getting it done. You kidding me? The bands in the Big Ten, they take it to a whole different level.
Yes, they do. Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State, Wisconsin, all around the conference. Now the final 15 minutes and a 6-point Michigan State advantage. They've got the football. 2nd down at the Badgers' 32-yard line. It is 2nd down and 2. Bell, 1st down, close to the 25-yard line. Le'Veon Bell from Reynoldsburg Ohio.
How about the spin move here to get him across for the first down? Cahoots right in the hole, and he just spins right around him and extends across for the first down. Again, Bell taking over this drive here. Good quickness, a nice little spin there, and upfield for the first down. We've talked so much about how the backs from Wisconsin, Ball and White, complement each other very well, but I think Edwin Baker and Le'Veon Bell showing the same thing tonight.
Up 6 and a potential killer drive underway here for the Spartans. Run that toss play. Spun down at the 21-yard line. That was Aaron Henry.
This big offensive line from Michigan State making some blocks, and again, this drive started with 4 straight throws from Kirk Cousins. A Michigan State offense in the second half, their first 2 series, they could not move the football. I think they came out, they opened things up, and I think it's gotten them back into a rhythm here where they've got Wisconsin now a little bit more on their heels.
Cousins is 14 of 17 tonight for 182 yards, and most importantly, he has not thrown an interception. There is the handoff to Bell, and this will put it into third down situation. We talked about Cousins and what a big fan he was of Northwestern growing up in Barrington when they went to the Rose Bowl. Well, guess who's doing the national radio tonight? That's right, Gary Barnett is the analyst upstairs, and Cousins said, I became a big fan of college football. That was a real exciting year in Evanston.
Remember Steve Schnurr, and that team was, if you were a fan of college football, how could you not fall in love with the Wildcats? Pat Fitzgerald leading the way. Darnell Autry, the running back. That was a great football team.
Here's third down and 4. They got a bunch over on the right now. Cousins has bunched his receivers, looks away from it, and throws for the first down away from the bunch. Came right off it and saw what he had.
And again, on third down, he seems to be settling in, and there's big Deion Sims again on third down. It's the second time we've seen these eyes of quarterback Kirk Cousins look for the big guy. It's a mismatch, 6'5", 275 pounds on third and short. They're going to look him up.
More tight ends than anybody this side of Jim Harbaugh and the 49ers.
You're right. And now David Shaw and Andrew Luck continuing that legacy for the Cardinals.
2 tight ends on that field again. Run the toss play with Bell. And Bell is upended, and that is Aaron Henry again coming in. He's a senior from Florida. That's a fine tackle.
And he is a leader that the coaches talk about, just his playmaking ability. You know, he was a corner a couple years ago, had an ACL back in 2007, had 3 surgeries to try to overcome that. He moved to free safety and has become really a staple of this Badger defense the last couple years, and one of the leaders that the Badgers turn to this year.
Badgers need a turnover. Second down. Stretch it out. Pick up a couple of yards, and this has been an impressive drive.
Well, you look at the clock and you start to think there's plenty of time, but at the same time, Michigan State's doing a good job of sustaining this drive, now working on 7 minutes on this drive, and the field goal here, of course, puts them up by 9. So if you're smart, you're Michigan State, maybe try to get this in the middle of the field and make sure you have a chance for setting up a better shot at a field goal.
Cannot make a bad pass in this situation, that's for sure.
Here's the right guy to help you.
Stands in, so he's on the field. Third down and 11. Got the man open and dumped it off to Martin. Turns the corner, touchdown. On third down, Kirk Cousins goes to Keyshawn Martin. It was 3rd and 11. They go 15 yards to the end zone, and the Badgers, for the first time this season, are in serious trouble. They're going to go for 2. Bell is the running back. Cousins will go into the gun. Borland shows pressure. Can't get there. Throw for it. Tough throw. Great catch. Great catch by B.J. Cunningham. What a grab that was. Cromartie was all over him. So Keyshawn Martin with his second touchdown of the game.
13 plays, 80 yards, 7.5 minutes taken, and Wisconsin took 4 pursuit angles to give Martin the corner and the touchdown.
Now watch B.J. Cunningham. Beautiful grab.
This Martin is lined up to the inside. He's just going to sit down here. I really believe that Michigan State thought that Wisconsin would make the play, but watch Cromartie, the poor angle that he takes there. Gene, the freshman corner, is in. He also takes the poor angle, which freed up the outside, and with the quickness of Keyshawn Martin, he's going to get outside there in a hurry.
Kevin Muma with Hill on the big bounce, stepped out. Now he's committed. Battles back, but he is short of the 20. And let me check, that was James White who brought that out of the end zone as we take a look at tonight's good hands play presented by Allstate, and no doubt about it, B.J. Cunningham with this grab for 2 points.
Well, I love to see receivers go up in the air and make a catch on a football. It's a 2-point conversion. He high points the ball and has the soft hands to bring it in.
Now Russell Wilson must come with 2 touchdowns. 31-17. He's got time. He's got Monty Ball. He's got to get his wide receivers involved. Abrederis on the end around. Can he make one block? He could have had a huge gain. That is 9 yards. Norman the stop. We go to Reese Davis.
All right, Brandon, it took a while because of a lightning delay, but Oklahoma and Texas Tech are underway, and also this game between USC and Notre Dame, a great throw from Matt Barkley to Robert Woods, put USC up 31-17. Texas Tech has a 7-point lead. You can see that game on ABC or ESPN2.
Penalty flag is thrown here by the line judge, and again a reminder, if Barkley wins tonight in South Bend, he goes home with USC to play Andrew Luck and Stanford next week at the Los Angeles Coliseum. It'll be a showdown of 2 Heisman Trophy candidates. You talk about star power.
Not only that, but USC, if they are able to hold on and beat Notre Dame, think about the way they looked against Cal, and now if they go into South Bend, they've got a little bit of momentum going right now for Lane Kiffin.
After the penalty, 2nd down and 6 for Wilson and the Badgers. Throws deep. Abrederis in a battle. Dropped the ball.
Abrederis had his man beaten. He got behind him. Denard lost him, and it was right at the line of scrimmage with a great move. And this guy, he is sure-handed, a guy you can count on. And I love the reaction from Russell Wilson. He's not going to jump up and down. He's not going to go crazy. He's not going to point his finger at his receiver. What are you doing to me? Just puts his head down, regroups, and tries to get the offense ready for this 3rd down.
He's been in the dugout with a cleanup hitter, goes 0 for 4.
Exactly.
3rd down and 6. And forced a punt at the 10-minute mark.
They brought pressure this time, Brett. Danikas Allen from the outside to the left of Russell Wilson. He does a good job of trying to just kind of hang in there, but it's one of the few times you're going to see Russell Wilson and one of his receivers. This time it was his running back, Monty Ball, not in sync.
Martin is back deep. He's already scored twice. Fair catch at the 31-yard line. 9:54. Ball control will be next for Sparty.
ESPN's College Football Primetime is presented by Hampton Hotels. At Hampton, we love having you here. And in part by Lexus. It's time to engineer amazing.
That's Beaumont Tower here on the campus of Michigan State in East Lansing. This is the location of the state of Michigan's first historical marker, and they've restored that clock within the last decade or so. Now Bell comes in, and you can expect this offensive line. Center Travis Jackson is quite a story this year for the Spartans. He'll snap it to Cousins, and they'll go right behind that center. He was in a battle for the starting job and lost it, but then the fellow beat him out, was injured, and here's Cousins.
Yeah, Kirk Cousins has had one of those nights where he's 16-19 and not a whole lot of flashy plays, but great decision making, not turning the football over, putting the ball where he needs to, where his guys can make plays on it. 3 incompletions the entire night, and those 3 incompletions all came on a blitz. But you're right, it's ball control now, and if you're Wisconsin, you're attacking the line of scrimmage and trying to rip that ball out of there.
Foreman and McDonald, the strength of the offensive line. Those are the 2 guards alongside the inexperienced Jackson. France and Finotti are the 2 tackles. So they bring the clock down. Play action. Cousins is in a foot race. Now he gets to the outside, and that's legal where he threw it out. And Buttram was in hot pursuit of the quarterback. And the Badgers have to have it back quickly, and they've got to strike right away.
Brandon Kelly, the defensive end that time, not being fooled. I think all of us assuming that they're going to try to run the ball and work that clock, but they try to catch him off guard with his second down play action pass with the bootleg. But Kelly was there to be able to push Cousins to the sidelines, and he didn't have anybody to throw the ball to. Sets up a big 3rd down. If Wisconsin wants to get back in this game, they've got to get Michigan State off the field right here.
And Caper checks back in. He's the 3rd down back. Linebacker blitz is picked up beautifully. Incomplete. They had a safety valve open over there, and they couldn't hook up, and now the Badgers do get the ball back.
Brent, interesting, before the play even developed, somebody tipped something off, because our audio picked up, you could hear Wisconsin, either the coaches on the sideline or the linebackers, they saw the motion, and when they saw motion, listen to this. Screen! Hear that? They're yelling screen right there. So right away, look how Taylor, the entire defense went right to Bell as soon as he went out there, to Caper rather, as soon as he went out there. Good pickup there by Wisconsin.
Aberderis, who dropped that long pass, is back deep. And would he like a return here? Aberderis is going to give it a shot. From the 24, gets a block, comes to the right side, 40, 45, gets to midfield, and still on his feet and driven down at the Spartans 45. So there's a young man who was determined to do something for his team, and he did exactly that with a fine return. Now, can the Badger offense strike fast? We'll be right back to find out. A 2-touchdown advantage for the Spartans here as we continue Dr. Pepper's road to the championships. Now, Russell Wilson in Michigan State territory with a 1st down at the 43.
And these are the moments you want if you're a quarterback and you want to lead your team to a special season. He's 10 of 15 so far tonight.
Play action on 1st down, and he's got to throw it away. Incomplete. The line judge is coming out to chat with the referee. The line judge and the referee are in a conversation about that throw out of bounds.
The passer was out of the pocket, therefore there is no intentional grounding. Incomplete pass.
Farr did not agree.
Well, that is a really, really close call. The officials have had a great night. See if he gets outside of that pocket area. It is right on the gray area, right on the line of getting outside of the tackle box.
2nd and 10. And here's ball breaking to daylight. And crashes to the 22-yard line. Robinson finally corralling him, but the Badgers could be in business after that 21-yard run.
Great double team by Kahns and Zeitler on the right side, and the left guard, Travis Frederick, gets up to the linebacker. It's the first time we've seen Monty Ball get to the second level untouched since going all the way back to the first half.
Well, Worthy. And now Wilson will dance. 15, 10, headed in zone, touchdown, Wisconsin. Now, did they call that he stepped out? No, the signal is finally touchdown. So it was a score all the way. And that's a 22-yard dance for Russell Wilson.
Brent, you'll love this. Russell Wilson, we just talked about, you got to make a play. Look who's in position to make a play. Isaiah Lewis, who called him out earlier in the week and said, we're coming after Russell Wilson. He gives him a pump fake. I think he was past the line of scrimmage when he gave him the pump fake. He gets him up in the air, and he dances around him for the touchdown.
Big extra point. Welsh gets it up and good. Back to within a touchdown. Wilson's pump fake sends the safety airborne. And it's 6 for the Badgers, who are back in it. Here's something special on Veterans Day, Friday, November 11th, the Quicken Loans Carrier Classic. A basketball game between Michigan State and North Carolina will be played on the deck of the USS Carl Vinson outdoors. 7,000 seats there. And the athletic director here at Michigan State, Mark Hollis, has been suggesting this idea. President Obama is scheduled to attend. What a day that's going to be on November 11th. Basketball, the college season, they're not going on strike, folks. They'll be there. So here we go now as the Badgers have climbed back to within 7. 8-10, plenty of time. Caper and Hill are back deep for the Spartans. Fielded at the 12 by Hill. And Hill is down to 25. Let us go to Reese Davis for an update. There's a penalty flag here.
All right, Brent, Texas Tech and Oklahoma. Texas Tech already up 14-7 on 2nd and 21. Seth Dagey to Alex Torres, weaves his way for the touchdown. You can see it on ABC or ESPN2 very early. Potentially a big upset brewing in Norman.
Number 34 of the kicking team, late hit, 15 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So a big-time personal foul. Let's take a look at what the young man, he took the towel out, Armstrong, and then dropped it. Is that why he got
Armstrong got involved, and then Ewing came in on and hit him late. It looked like both guys were kind of giving him the business there. Nonetheless, 15 yards for Spartans, close to midfield.
Big 15 yards, and Cousins is going to come up throwing on first down. Oh, that could have been picked at midfield. A dangerous throw that time, and Finellis almost had a shot at it.
Interesting play call here. 1st and 10. Pressure is there again by Kelly, and Finellis anticipating shorter throws in this situation. That's an understanding of the time in the game, the down and the distance, and appreciating the expectation of that shorter throw. He jumped it, and he almost came up with a catch.
2nd and 10. Come back with Bell on the running play. And this will be 3rd down, 7:50. The Badgers wanting that ball back with plenty of time. The Spartans have to be careful with this play call.
Michigan
Remember
State.
B.J. Cunningham, Herbie.
Yes, sir.
He's been a go-to guy for Kirk Cousins.
Also, Deion Sims, the big tight end. We'll see if he's in this football game right now. They've had some success going to him. They're 5 of 11 on 3rd down.
Cousins, and it's deflected. Incomplete, and Wisconsin gets the ball back with plenty of time. 7 minutes to go. Nzegwu with a fine play defensively.
And if you can't get to the quarterback because he's getting rid of the ball quickly, Nzegwu that time gets his hands up. He's 6'4", actually gets some decent penetration. What you love to see from Wisconsin, tight coverage there on third down. Make the receivers work to get open.
Herbie, there's the young man who really sparked the last drive. Alberderis had a 31-yard punt return. So here he goes again. Dan Conroy. They come after it and almost get it. Alberderis with a fair catch down at the 24-yard line. And, of course, the Badgers, BCS ranking very much up in the air right now. They are number 6. Boise State struggled and won 37-26. Alabama, as Oklahoma trails in Norman 21-7. They've won 39 straight in Norman. So hang on, everybody.
Brent, we talked about the quarterback, Russell Wilson, needing to do something special. He let him down last drive, and now he's got the ball back.
First down and 10 for Russell Wilson. On the play action, rolling to the right, gets a block from Ball, throws back the other way, and it's intercepted by Lewis. Lewis finally comes up with a huge play. The mouth that roared comes up with a big pick.
Isaiah Lewis went airborne on the previous touchdown by Russell Wilson. This time he times it up, makes sure he has possession of the football while he has his feet in bounds for the Spartans' interception.
Seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Oh, what a moment for that young man. Shaken up early. Had to leave when he was run over by Monty Ball. Jumped in the air on a Russell touchdown run, and now he makes the pick. And now the Spartans go to work on the clock. Bell bangs straight ahead. Well, you just took a look at the Vizio BCS standings, and let me remind you that tomorrow night, those standings could have a huge shakeup if Oklahoma can't come back. So you want to be tuning in to ESPN at 8:15. Kirk and the gang, along with Reese, they'll have all the details.
The way Clemson looked today again against North Carolina, Oklahoma State, and Columbia against Missouri. Some teams continuing to press towards the top and put pressure on those teams in the top 3 or 4.
Second down for Cousins. Back with the running play with Bell. Gang tackle. The Badgers try to stand him up and strip him, and they don't.
You go back a couple possessions ago for Michigan State. You and I said ball control. Michigan State was up by 14. Surprised me a little bit that Dan Rauscher decided to remember that play action pass on second down that was incomplete. That series, they only took a little bit over a minute on the clock. It got the ball right back to Wisconsin, and they scored after the big punt return by Alberderis. Again, last series, they decided to try to throw the ball. Now they're going back to running the football to work the clock.
Herbie, it's been 3 and out. You just pointed at those last 2 drives for the Spartans. So here they are with a 3rd and 3, and the Badgers are determined. Cousins is going to throw again. He's in trouble. Sacked. And Michigan State must punt it away. Hemer was coming, and Hemer did a great job. Ethan Hemer, out of Medford, Wisconsin, a 300-pound sophomore.
And Brett, watch the 2 linebackers as Cunningham, again, on the option route. This was successful earlier for a touchdown. Watch Cunningham try to work to the middle. This time, both linebackers take that away, and it gives Hemer time to get in there. Cousins was locked into Cunningham on 3rd down. The linebackers took it away, and Hemer gets in for the sack.
Alberderis lets it roll,
And with that rugby-style punt, it is down at the 13. So here comes Russell Wilson tonight. 10 of 17, 151 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 costly interceptions.
Yes, sir. And let's also give credit to the Wisconsin defense to get the ball back to Russell Wilson. We keep talking about Russell Wilson and what can he do, but he's needed to get the football back to have a chance to do something. And the Badgers defense have given him that opportunity. Let's see what he does with it.
Down 7, 4:28. All 3 of his timeouts. Monty Ball, hole in the middle, cuts to the left. And Ball with 11 yards and a first down. Plenty of time. This is a offensive coordinator who will not give up the run with 4:20 to go. Paul Chryst will make those linebackers respect the run.
Amen. I think Paul Chryst is one of the top play callers in the country, and the cutback lane is always open for business. That's why those backside linemen, Ricky Wagner and Travis Frederick that time, had some key blocks to open up the backside.
Again. And again a first down with Monty Ball.
The double team to the right side. Watch the center cons and that right guard, Kevin Zeitler, open things up. The right tackle, Josh Oglesby, where they're pushing Michigan State back and using their size to their advantage, pushing back the quicker and undersized linebackers of Michigan State.
Wagner, Frederick, Peter Kahn, Zeitler, Oglesby, the offensive line going to work for Russell Wilson. Eberderis on the end around. Can he get a lane on the outside? Pushed out of bounds after a 3-yard gain. That was Drummond getting number 4 out on the far side.
Really like the urgency right now from this Wisconsin offense. They're not quite in 2-minute mode. You can see they have 3 timeouts. You have a veteran quarterback who started 3 years at North Carolina State, a year here now at Wisconsin. He's seen everything and every aspect of the football game. He's going to put you in position to have a chance. They're not panicking at all, but they do have a sense of urgency.
Ball is eaten up this time by Pickelman, Kevin Pickelman from Marshall, Michigan.
Pickelman does a good job of just being able to get right through there. Watch him fight through this double team. We've been talking all night about what a good job Frederick and Kahns have done. That time, the big Pickelman that time at 290 pounds fought his way through there.
So here's your 3rd and 9. 2:47. Wilson trying to find a target. Dances, got one, waited patiently, got the first down with Brady Ewing, the fullback. His first catch of the night as he became the safety valve, but it was Wilson's patience and a 15-yard gain.
And that's where the experience pays off. He sat in there and did not give up on the play. He looks right. He comes back to Nick Toon. That's not there. There's the poise and the pocket presence. Vision downfield, eventually finding that fullback, Brady Ewing.
And Ewing kept working for him. Now play action on first down. Wilson. He takes off. There is a flag on the play thrown on the far side at the 42-yard line.
Hold there by Wisconsin.
Holding, number 58, offense. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
The left tackle, Ricky Wagner. Take a look toward the top of your screen. There is Wagner right there. Comes to the outside, gets the arms outside, and pulls him down for the back of his jersey.
Johnny Adams, the corner, came on a blitz, and I think he surprised him with how quick he got on him, and he just pulled him down, hoped to try to get away with it.
Now we've got first down and 20, just inside of 2 minutes. Wilson has to dance out of trouble, sprints back to the right. Can the receiver come back? Got it. Nick Toon works his way back and is out of bounds at the 15-yard line with 1:39 to go, a 42-yard gain.
Brent, we've been kind of waiting for Nick Toon to arrive in this game. When was he going to make a play? And again, the quarterback, Russell Wilson, buying time, in sync that time. Good job by Nick Toon, not giving up on the play, coming back to the sideline for his quarterback to find him away from the defender, Trent Robinson.
From the 15, I believe a timeout is called by the Spartans. Mark D'Antonio and the Spartans will use a timeout here to get the defense together. 1:39, 3 timeouts, need a touchdown. Bielema over on the sideline with Russell Wilson leading this down the field for the night. 12 and IT now for 208 yards, 1 touchdown, and the 2 interceptions. But this is when you work against a defensive coach like Mark D'Antonio. There's nothing easy about the 15-yard line.
No, you get into the red zone and things get a lot tighter. But how about Russell Wilson? We've been kind of setting the table. Is he going to get the opportunity? Is he going to deliver? And he hasn't yet. But he's definitely been able to show his patience, his poise, and that's the experience that he brings to Wisconsin. It's not just the athletic ability or his arm strength. I think it's the poise and the leadership and decision-making as we've seen on this drive.
You know, working with his receivers like he does, that paid off that time because Toon was covered and he saw his quarterback was in trouble. He broke it off and headed hard for the sideline, and Wilson saw him.
And that's that relationship, which is very unique to only be on the Madison campus, Wisconsin campus, since July. And Brady Ewing, the play before that, also was able to work for him and eventually get open on a big play on this drive.
Ball is a running back. Wilson to throw it on first down. Wide open. Abbrederis out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Now they can run ball. At 1:32, they don't have to throw the ball down here. They can bring the hammer.
Absolutely, Brent. And again, a bit of a risk by Michigan State. They brought outside pressure. They voided the zone. Nobody was out in the flat. And look who finds the open man, Russell Wilson.
And Ewing is back in as the lead fullback. Down a touchdown. Power to the right on this formation. But they're going to throw for it. Russell Wilson will drop it off. Ball, touchdown. We're an extra point away from a tie. There were 2 key plays, Herbie. You've talked about both of them. That pass on 3rd and 9 to Ewing, who kept moving, and then the 42-yarder to Toon.
And if you're looking for a sequence of plays or a drive that could sum up Russell Wilson, it's this drive. 4 for 4 to lead the Badgers to potentially the tying touchdown if they make this conversion.
For the tie, Philip Welsh. Got it. Now Cousins is left with 1:26 and a return.
And 2 timeouts. But again, you look for that moment. As a team, you need to grow up. You want to have that magical season. We'll find out how this game ends, but Bret Bielema has to be very proud. He wanted to know how his team would handle adversity. On the road for the first time. Down, didn't look like anything was going right. They're down by 14 with 7 or 8 minutes to go. Offense did their job. The defense did their job. Now we're tied up at 31, and now the ball's in the court of Kirk Cousins and the Spartans offense to see if they can get in field goal range and maybe win this game.
So 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter for the Badgers. Russell Wilson runs one in and throws the other. And there's the young man, Monty Ball, who caught the tying touchdown pass. Alex Lerner will kick it off. Caper and Hill are back deep. The Spartans with 1:26 to go. And a kicker who can hit him from 50 yards. Fielded and dropped by Hill. Now he picks it up. Hill is down with 1:19 left on the clock, and we've got an injured Badger who's down.
The first half went very well for Kirk Cousins. His decision-making has been solid, but now he's in a position where he's going to have to deliver the football when Wisconsin knows it's coming. They've been out of rhythm here these last few drives. Let's see now back in the shotgun in obvious passing situations how they execute here.
And Bell is the running back. Swing to him. Out of bounds.
Got about 40 yards where they need to get and have a chance at field goal range.
Now there's a young man who kicked a 50-yarder against Ohio State. He also kicked a 50-yarder against Florida Atlantic. And last year, another 50-yarder against Florida Atlantic. But they've still got to pick up some yards to give him a chance. 1:15, 2 timeouts, 2nd and 7. A one-hopper incomplete. Nickel was the target that time.
Coverage outstanding by Wisconsin. You know, Peniel Jean has had to step into this game and play with the injury to Desmond Southward. And when Wisconsin is in nickel, he's out there playing and he's holding up pretty well out in an island. Now you look at Wisconsin with 3 timeouts, 3rd and 7. They're going to throw the football here. If they don't convert or it's incomplete, you're getting the ball back to Russell Wilson with 3 timeouts and a chance to get back down and to maybe have a shot themselves at a winning field goal.
Yeah, and Welsh has kicked a 57-yarder in his career. So here comes Cousins. Fires, and that is a first down to Bell, the running back. Clock stops momentarily at the 1:06 mark, and a big strike by Cousins.
Anytime you're in a 2-minute drill, it's all about just getting that first down, and then you try to get that rhythm established and get things going with the tempo.
Cousins steps, fumble, and Spartans, I believe, recovered it if the whistle had blown. This was punched out by Kelly. Brandon Kelly punched this ball out on Cousins, and the fate of the evening was hanging in the balance with that ball on the ground.
We've talked so much about his decision making. Here's a poor decision. Before this, he was waiting and waiting and waiting. In the 2-minute drill, it's not the down that's so important. It's you can't get sacked. You can't allow the clock to continue. You can't turn the ball over. Just throw it away. It's outside of the pocket. Throw it into the 30th row if you have to, but don't hold on to the football.
The Badgers use a timeout. 42 seconds.
See the big fella down there, Worthy, the defensive tackle, kind of challenging his offensive lineman. Should be talking to the receivers right now. Wisconsin's defense putting a blanket on the receivers from Michigan State.
And that was Dave Huxtable, the linebacking coach who came up from Central Florida, who was talking to the defense out there for Brett Bielema. Well, Huxtable is an outstanding linebacker coach. And he was out on the field, and now here we go with 42 ticks left. The Badgers now using timeouts in an effort to get their hands back on the football.
Here's B.J. Cunningham down at the bottom.
Cousins throws underneath, and there's B.J., who Herbie came from the bottom, and that is still short of a first down. They are at the 36-yard line, and they must get to the 44.
Interesting game of strategy going on who's going to call the timeout, who thinks they might be able to get into field goal range, who's got confidence. That time it was Brett Bielema again in Wisconsin electing to use their timeout. They're thinking, let's get a stop, get the ball back to Russell Wilson. But Michigan State, maybe not as confident. They were willing to let the clock continue to move. Well, this game, we talked before the game started. Let's just hope it lives up to the hype. It's been a fun week talking about these two teams and everything that Michigan State's been going through with William Golston. How would they show up to play tonight? How about the hype about Wisconsin and the BCS standings? We're not getting enough respect. We're undefeated. It's a big stage tonight, and both these teams have battled and given us a game that we'll remember for a long time.
And this could be the first of two. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They're in opposite divisions. Michigan State with the ball. They're in the legends, and the Badgers are in the leaders. And remember, the Big Ten will go to a championship game this year in Indianapolis. So who knows what's ahead.
Another huge third down if it's an incompletion here. Wisconsin's thinking of getting that ball back.
Michigan State converted a 3rd and 7 already on this drive. Cousins inside shovel pass. Got the first down. Used Keyshawn Martin, the wide receiver, and they pick it up with 23 seconds.
And now they become the aggressor. Now they're thinking about, obviously, getting into field goal range after another conversion here on 3rd down.
Now the clock starts to move. We're down to 20 seconds. In the middle, here's Bell. Bell trying to get it, but they've got 2 timeouts, and they can kill it with 9 seconds.
And Brent, you mentioned Conroy and the success he's had from those distances. Realistically, you're about 10 yards away, 9 or 10 yards away from at least having a shot at having a game-winning field goal.
So now at this point in the game, we should make it official. 10 seconds are left on the clock. 10 seconds, that's the official time.
The 44-yard line. If you're Michigan State, you'd love about a 10 to 12-yard gain, put it in the middle of the field, and get that timeout.
2nd down and very short. And again, Danny Conroy out of Wheaton, Illinois, has made 3 50-yarders. Continues to loosen up on the sideline.
Remember, the option route's been pretty successful for him with Cunningham at the top of the screen.
Got that timeout if they should fail to get this first down. Rolling back, throwing, incomplete. No penalty flag. And that was Aaron Henry on Brian Linthicum. So Aaron Henry comes up with a good play defensively. Now we are down to 4 seconds.
Interesting call where they rolled out. Henry does not interfere with him, even though the crowd wanted the call. But the rollout, Brent, took some time. 6 seconds off of the clock. And now with 4 seconds, virtually impossible to get a playoff and get a timeout called and then still have a shot at a field goal.
You can take one shot here with a hook and ladder, Herbie, and see if you can strike. We're 4 seconds away from overtime.
Timeout, Wisconsin. That's their 3rd and final charge. Timeout, 30 seconds.
Bielema and the defensive coaches for the Badgers will remind them of the trick plays, the hook and ladders, whatever they're going to try here. And of course, they do not want to interfere downfield. You do not want to allow them 15 yards and another play. Very critical.
You almost wondered, there's a guy like Nick Toon who might come into the game in case they just decide to put it up in the air on a Hail Mary and have a taller receiver who can get up there and just kind of knock the ball away.
The importance of having a timeout late. Wow. Bielema over there talking to the defensive troops and getting them straight. A very deep defensive set for the Badgers.
I said
3 safeties go back inside the 10-yard line.
I said Nick Toon, but they put Jared Abbrederis back there instead.
3-man rush. Cousins on the last play of regulation chucks it to the end zone. Caught. Michigan State's caught it on a rebound. Hold on. It is just short of the end zone. Instant replay will take a look at this. The Spartans caught the ricochet. They want the touchdown. Instant replay will have to decide now. Ball was caught by Keith Nichol. Take a look.
Abradaris gets in the air and gets a hand on it. Nichol is right in the front. It comes right into his hands. Does the ball cross the plane? Taylor is fighting like crazy to prevent it from breaking the plane. Boy, it was really close. Really close. Look at Abradaris gets up in the air. The ball goes off of Sims and Cunningham. Nichol is right there. And Taylor's doing everything he can to keep the ball away from breaking the plane.
So instant replay will decide it. Remember, the call on the field is no touchdown. Indisputable to turn this over. Remember that, as Nichol was battling and Taylor had him wrapped up. The one-time quarterback caught the ricochet. Take another look at this now. This is what instant replay is doing. You be the official.
I mean, Brent, it is right at the line. How about Abradaris goes up in the air. You've got B.J. Cunningham and Dion Sims in perfect position. They knock the ball away, and it falls into the hands of Nichol. And then it becomes a battle of wills between Taylor, the linebacker, and Nichol, the former quarterback receiver.
So Tom Herbert is looking at the replay. Dennis Lipsky will tell you what happened. It was from the 44-yard line. The crowd in front of us has turned back up toward the press box.
And to you and I. Forget the press box. They want to know if it's a touchdown or not. Why don't you tell them based on that look? What do you think?
Not my decision to make.
Oh.
Remember, the call on the field is no touchdown.
Look at that battle.
After further review, the runner did cross the goal line.
Touchdown, Michigan State, with a miracle ending. The team is running toward the student body. A one-time quarterback, Keith Nichol, catches the ball for the first time tonight and is able to battle and get the ball across the goal line. Let's go down below now to Aaron Andrews.
We're all speechless. Put that into words.
We've won some close games around here with some big plays. That may be the biggest. What a great call by Rochard. Cousins got some time to throw it and got in the end zone.
What was the call on that play?
Let's see who comes up with it.
We know that the officials needed to look at the replay. What did you see when you were down there on the sideline?
I just saw a bunch of people down there, but our guys were saying he was in, and they got to give us a call. So, great call by the officials.
All night, the guys in the booth were talking about Kirk Cousins' decision-making. What did you think of his play tonight?
Unbelievable job. Our guys played. We made big plays all night. You know, I don't think we had a penalty, and you know, I was very proud of it. We kept our composure the way we played football.
Last year, you weren't able to be here for this win. What's it like to be here and watch an ending like this?
My heart's racing.
Thank you, Coach.
Take care of that heart, Coach. Herbie, I was here back in 2001 when T.J. Duckett caught that 2-yard pass from Jeff Smoker as time expired versus Michigan. This one was even more unbelievable. As a one-time quarterback, catches a ball that is being battered around and gets it over the goal line for the winning touchdown for the Spartans. You talk about an instant classic.
Brendan, how fitting to have this game battle back and forth. So much at stake. 31-31. Comes down to a Hail Mary. The ball is tipped, falls into the hands of a former quarterback, and then it's, as I said, it comes down to a battle between a linebacker and a receiver to see who wanted to win the game more. Good job. They buy the time. Perfectly executed right there. Put it up in the air. Abradaris mistimes his jump. It goes off of Cunningham. And right there, that battle of wills between Nickel and Taylor. And Nickel, the quarterback, the receiver, former quarterback, has just enough. Watch this. All week the talk, the game's tied at 31, and it comes down to that fight right there to get across. It's literally 2 or 3 inches to fight.
Now on the sideline, take a look at Coach D'Antonio. That's his reaction. Meanwhile, the man who threw it.
Brett, he has just beaten Ohio State, Michigan, and now Wisconsin. 3 weeks in a row.
And there's one other thing that I want to point out as we see Michigan State rushing to the student body. They played this football game tonight without a single penalty. Not one penalty against Michigan State tonight. And let's go down now to Erin Andrews.
Brent, I'm right here with Keith Nickel. Caught the ball. You said the play was rocket. How many times have you executed that one in practice?
We practice it every week. At the end of every week, you never know when a situation like that's going to happen, especially against a good team like Wisconsin. And, you know, we practice it, execute it. Just incredible to come out here in front of these fans and do it in front of them and to win the game. It was incredible.
Give us an idea of what that battle was like to get that ball.
I think that play kind of summed up how the whole entire game went. It was just who was going to make the last play, who was going to win that, make that final play to change the game. Special teams, defense, offense, all came together for us. Same thing for them. They're making plays all over the place. Came down to one play at the end, and we were thankful to be on that part of the end. You know?
All right, thanks so much, Brent.
You know, folks, this is why we love college football.
Oh, amen.
It's unbelievable. There it is, the ball clearly on the goal line. The instant replay official up here right next to us. Tom Herbert making the toughest call of his career, I dare say. And the Big Ten should be so lucky to get a rematch for their championship and have a game just like this. I mean, this was just incredible. And you just got to be so happy for Cousins. He hasn't gotten a lot of attention. People have said he's made so many mistakes through the years here at Michigan State. Probably an underrated young man, terrific student. Once thought of going into medicine, and he still might after he gets a chance in the National Football League. But he's just a great leader, and he showed it here tonight, Herbie.
And that's called adrenaline right there from a leader and a 3-year starter and a 3-time captain. If you want to know about his character, there aren't very many 3-time captains walking around any campus. Terrell Worthy, the big defensive tackle, excited. Remember, he challenged his offensive line on that final series. Somebody had to make a play, and it was the Michigan State offense as they were trying to what looked like maybe get into field goal range. Ends up with a Hail Mary to win the football game 37-31.
So once again, Michigan State hands Wisconsin its first loss of the season. This has been a presentation of ESPN, worldwide leader in sports. For Kirk Herbstreit, Erin Andrews, and our entire ESPN college football prime time crew, I'm Brent Musburger. Coming up, what's happening to Oklahoma? Here's SportsCenter.
This SportsCenter telecast is brought to you in